have no time to rest and watch something.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, October 31st, 2019. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination, episode 1186.
This is No Agenda.
Voting on a vote to vote and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where we all noticed that neither team could win one single home game. What a bunch of losers. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Yes, I know what you're referring to. We're very sad here in Texas. As the
Your home team,
they got their pants beat.
Could not. Well, the other team did too.
Yeah.
Neither team could win one game at home.
I know.
For the first time in history, by the way.
It's just really?
Yeah.
First time in history. Oh, okay.
First time in history.
Oh, I didn't realize.
It was historic.
Yeah.
But it was embarrassing.
Okay. Too bad.
Yeah, too bad. Well, the game's over. It's the end of the season. Baseball is done.
Good. When is the Super Bowl? Isn't that cranking up pretty soon?
The Super Bowl's next week.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the bowl. The big bowl. That's what I'm ready for. All right. I'm going to remind us from my list here, because way too often do the good things get discussed outside of the show just by accident. And I wrote down we need to discuss the Logitech mouse.
So my battery went out again on the Logitech mouse.
Which is in 3 weeks.
No, it was a lot longer than that.
Not
but
much. Maybe
it went out. And so we got into a discussion. And Adam decides to be the big dog and just bury me with all the crazy crap that his Logitech mouse can do that I've never heard of.
My Logitech mouse.
He's got a mouse the size, apparently it's the size of a bulldog that's got all these features.
It is actually big and it's heavy and I really like it. It has kind of like a gyroscopic wheel as the scroll wheel, which you can set on clicks, physical clicks. So it did click, 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 click. Or you can set it to freewheel and you just and you flick that wheel and go, woo! And your pages go up, woo! Your pages go down. And it's a beautiful mouse.
Does it make that noise?
Yes, listen, woo! And it has 2 buttons on the side. In a web browser, you can go forward or back. So with your thumb, you can say, I'll just go back a page, click. That is actually quite handy. And it's a very good mouse. And I do not need batteries as often as you do. But that's the mouse striking back at you.
Well, my mouse has a number of features. It's got a scroll wheel that may or may not do what yours does. It's got 2 little buttons on the left side and none on the right. And it's got a little button in the middle, like a third mouse button. And it's got the regular 2 buttons. But the question that came to mind as you were going on and on about the virtues of your mouse.
Hey, I like my mouse, yeah?
Was,
and it's
how
bigger
did
than
Logitech
yours.
take over the mouse industry?
Well, what else were they going to do? I know how they did it. I know what their magic feature was.
Okay, go.
It's the USB dongle. Everyone was dicking around with USB mice, and it's, it would work, and then it wouldn't work. Especially on the Mac, it would crap out, and then of course Apple came with their Magic Mouse, which was ergonomically just didn't feel right. And these guys had the plug and play. Just plug in the USB dongle, boom, the thing works. You don't have to worry about it. I think that was their success.
Work. That I will agree with that. You stick that little radio dongle, and it's not like Bluetooth. It's not, it's like something else. It's their own thing. You stick it in, and the mouse works. It's
still 2.5 gigahertz, I think. But yes, it works.
Well, it's still using the frequency, but it's not Wi-Fi.
So let that be a lesson if you're going to start a company. Dongles win.
Well, they definitely have taken over the business.
And now,
a lot of people with Macs even use them.
And now on to the important news of the day. I watched all morning. Watch these Jamoke Congress, the representatives in the House, discussing why they should have a vote to then subsequently be able to vote on articles of
we
impeachment.
can vote on a vote that we're going to vote on.
That's pretty much what it is. Although, to be honest, it is setting up the guidelines and the rules for whatever continued inquiry they're going to do. And as you'd expect, it was all the Republicans voted against, one independent voted for. I don't know who that was. And all but 2 Democrats voted for. So that's passed. And it's a resolution which I did look it up. And it's really just like, well, we'll be fair and we'll let the president's team interview witnesses. And there's some subpoena powers. But I think in the parlance of Joe on the street, it's like, well, they voted to impeach him. I think that's the whole point. People see this like, oh, is he impeached? Is he gone? Is he done? It's getting close. It's getting real bad.
Yeah.
I think that's about all I have on the matter. I mean, I tried to, well, actually, this is from yesterday. I recorded everything this morning, and Pelosi came out, and she did, it wasn't even worth listening to for the show. Some guy set up an easel. I'm like, oh, now we're going to get a presentation. No, just put up a printed flag on the easel, and she stood next to it like, oh, yes, Article 1. Oh, please, Nancy. Skeletor, go away. It's the whole show. I keep having to explain to people, this. You have to understand, this is wrestling. This is the format. Trump was in the wrestling organization. WWE. Was it E then, I guess? WWE or WWF? I don't know.
At the time, I don't know.
He knows how to do this. It's just a big show. And it's gone on too long now.
It has gone on too long, and it's getting tedious.
Yes. Here was Pelosi yesterday. She was asked a question about the articles of impeachment, since Al Green wants to have racism as one of the articles. Presidents are racist. We have to impeach him. We need racism to be one of the articles of impeachment, and Pelosi pretty much had the same answer consistently.
Well, for an impeachment, articles of impeachment to succeed, I haven't really actually seen his articles of impeachment, but are they that racism? We'll deal with that resolution on the floor. But as I have said over and over again, with all the respect in the world for Mr. Green, he's a very prayerful person, and he cares very much about our Constitution. And
I've heard, she says this a lot. She's a very prayerful person. I don't think I've really ever heard this used that often, the term prayerful.
I have to assume it's some sort of an insult.
Yeah, even though it's a Democrat, Al Green, yeah, probably.
And he cares very much about our Constitution and our country. So as I say, with all the respect in the world for him, we have 6 committees that are working on following the facts in terms of any abuse of power, obstruction of justice, and the rest that the president may have engaged in. That is the serious path that we are on. Not that Mr. Green is not serious, but we'll deal with that on the floor.
Will you vote to table it? Will you vote to table it?
I don't know what we will do, but we will deal with it on the floor.
A lot of dealing with it on the floor, so I guess that's what's going to happen all day. They're going to be dealing with it on the floor.
Dealing with a lot of stuff on the floor.
Wasting.
Somebody should clean up the place.
Wasting everybody's time. It's tiring. It's not even fun to pull dumb clips.
Yeah, and Al Green, we do have a clip from him from a few weeks back where he says the reason we got to impeach him because he's going to get reelected.
Yes, this is the, let me see. Here it is.
You've been calling for starting articles of impeachment since 2017, but a new Quinnipiac poll taken after the release of the redacted Mueller report found that 66% say Congress should not start impeachment proceedings. And there's a sharp partisan divide, as we all know, with only 4% of Republicans favoring impeachment. Congressman, are you concerned that impeachment talk may actually help the president's reelection?
I'm concerned that if we don't impeach this president, he will get reelected.
Yes, we can't have that. Do these people understand what they're saying?
I think not.
I mean, woe is me.
I mean, do they understand what they're saying? Let's go back to a classic clip.
Yeah, right.
I pulled a couple of classics.
Oh, you pulled some classics? Okay. Well, we do regarding what? Because we do have some other stuff to talk about.
No, it's about people don't pay much attention to what they're saying.
Ah, okay.
This is the classic "My Muslim Faith."
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is a definite favorite. But hold on a second. Why am I not seeing it under M?
It's under classic.
And I'm not seeing it under C.
2008.
Oh, there you go. I could have known.
John McCain has not talked about my Muslim faith, and you're absolutely right that has not
Christian
come
faith.
My Christian faith.
Please. Although Obama did come out in the past
As
couple
Muslim,
of days.
finally?
Yeah, no, that would be incorrect. No, he has his Obama Foundation, and they had a summit, and so all the children are on stage, and you've probably only
got that clip too.
Well, I pulled it's about a minute 40. I pulled the whole
okay.
thing. Let's just listen to it. I thought it was. The question is, who was he really directing it at? But in general, it was interesting that he came out and said this because he's right.
You know, this idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff. You should get over that quickly. The world is messy. There are ambiguities.
Yep.
People who do really good stuff have flaws.
Right.
People who you are fighting may love their kids and, share certain things with you. And I think that one danger I see among young people, particularly on college campuses, Malia and I talk about this. Yara goes to school with my daughter. But I do get a sense sometimes now among certain young people, and this is accelerated by social media, there is this sense sometimes of the way of me making change is to be as judgmental as possible about other people. And that's enough. Like if I tweet or hashtag about how you didn't do something right or used the wrong verb or...
This is what I thought was kind of interesting that no one has said anything about. There's no issue with people using the wrong verbs. The word the president couldn't find was pronoun. But for some reason he said verb.
About how you didn't do something right or used the wrong verb or then I can sit back and feel pretty good about myself. Because, man, you see how woke I was? I called you out. Let me get on TV. Watch my show. Watch Grownish.
Which is also interesting since, after Blackish, there is actually a show called Mixedish, which he should be watching that, not Grownish.
Watch my show. Watch Grownish.
Another good catch.
That's not activism. That's not bringing about change. If all you're doing is casting stones, you're probably not going to get that far. That's easy to do.
So, of course, we mocked the president, but I like that he said that, and I like that a lot of news media picked it up. I mean, people should hear this, and maybe they'll listen to the former president. Why not? Come on, listen to the prez.
No one's going to listen to him.
Don't use the wrong verb on me.
He screwed up verb and pronoun, which was a good point to make.
Yeah.
Couldn't make it. Didn't make the point.
And no one called him out on it. That's kind of meta. Hey, Obama, I'm calling you out for using the wrong thing in call out.
Wrong word.
Wrong word, man.
All right, back to the track. You on a track? Go.
I was on a track?
Yeah, because I interrupted with my Muslim faith clip, and you said, "Well, I got more to say," and then you never said it.
No, it was about Obama. I said,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the track. That was the track. Well, then let's mess with another president. Let's mess with President Trump. If it wasn't bad enough that we killed Baghdadi for the third time, we buried him at sea. I'm sorry, I can't even say it. It's so stupid.
How did we bury a bunch of scrapings at sea? That's what I said on Twitter.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly. It was like a pencil sharpener, Kate. Just spread that over the ocean, and you won't get to see any pictures Oh, no, none of that.
Well, what pictures are you going to see if he blew himself up? Did you hear the latest one, though?
Oh,
they've modified it.
Oh. Okay, so just so we're clear, and then I want to hear the modification. When Obama killed bin Laden, it was exactly the same. We had buried him at sea. That was, even though the guy has killed all these people responsible for 9/11, instead they said, oh, no, we respect the Muslim faith. We have to bury him at sea. And you can't handle looking at those pictures. And everyone in the media went, okay. And that was it. We never saw pictures. We don't know if it was really him. Of course, they identified DNA through a vaccination program. And the whole thing was so sketchy. And now Trump does exactly the same. Exactly the same.
And I will mention, as somebody on Twitter pointed out, how does this desert living clan develop a practice of burying people at sea? There's no oceans around Mecca.
That's a very good point. And then we have all the animations of the compound, and then this insulting video, which has clearly been overlaid with a filter to make it look all grainy because, God forbid people understand that we can see a pimple on your ass from outer space. Oh, no, it's hard to see. It's a little grainy. Even the compound looks similar.
Yeah. I think all
they forgot to do is leave a stealth helicopter behind for the Chinese to pick up. Everything else was exactly the same script, the same director on the animations, which they just whip up. Like, this is really important. Yeah, let's get the 3D guys on it. Yeah, we need to show people how this worked. Please. Lies. But I guess that's how you end a war, right? I guess that's how you end you leave that for your legacy. I talked to Pachenik about it.
Oh, well, before I have my little clip, I want to hear what he had to say.
He said, well, of course, he said, total bull crap. He said, but this is, because I said, why is he doing this? He said, yeah, this is not him. So this is. Yeah,
I get the feeling it's not him either.
This is rogue actors who have some agenda that either he's playing into or doesn't care or whatever. Maybe he likes it. I mean, to be honest, when you can get up and talk like, the big man, he died like a dog. Let me play a little clip. An alternative version, if you will.
Last night, the United States brought the world's #1 terrorist leader to justice. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi.
Hit it.
Abu Bakr, Abu Bakr, Baghdadi.
Come on, John. Nod your head. Sing along.
Abu Bakr. The United States has been searching for Baghdadi for many years. Baghdadi. He died after running into a dead-end tunnel. Baghdadi is dead.
This is much better. This is what you'd expect from our first black president, to do some, slow jams and kind of roll it out. No, it takes the white guy to do it right.
The funny thing is ABC's starting to do this sort of thing. They have a feed. CBS started this feed, so it's called CBSN.
Mm-hmm.
And ABC is ABC Today or something. And it's a news. It's just a 24/7 bunch of people going on and on about various news stories, very tight. And only it's a little more produced than CBS's version, but they have a musical bed over the whole thing.
To LA County as it continues to gust there 60 to 80 miles per hour, mainly in the higher elevations.
Well, that's the one that you wanted me to play.
No, we're talking about Baghdadi.
Well, you said ABC. I'm sorry.
Yeah, ABC.
I got you. I got you.
No, but not that clip.
Okay. I'm out of control. I don't know what to do.
You're jitty.
I'm so jitty with it. What am I doing?
So they brought up. So I just told you that part about the musical bed because I have about 5 clips from this operation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And they're all annoying.
Well, that I noticed. So first of all, if it's anything like I just heard in that preview clip, this is somehow some old radio guy
Yes, exactly.
Worked his way into the news division. They said, shit, let him do it the overnights. You take care of that. It's like, it's way too dry, man. We need to spruce it up a little bit. We need we need a music bed. And then he called in production and had these, of course, because you can't just use any music. So they cost another $5,000 to license it. And this is going to be the result, I guess. This is stupid.
Well, here's the clip. But what's interesting is because they've told the story a new way, which makes zero sense about how Baghdadi died. But it brings to mind the spider hole, and it brings to mind the hiding in a tube or whatever what's his name did. But this is ABC. This clip is called Baghdadi's Story: Spider Hole.
Harrowing new video released of the raid that killed ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. This video from the Pentagon showing airstrikes taking down ISIS supporters outside Baghdadi's compound. Troops moving in single file. Then the compound flattened. The Pentagon confirmed Baghdadi, quote, crawled into a hole with 2 small children and blew himself up while his people stayed on the ground, but was unable to confirm President Trump's claim Baghdadi was whimpering and crying in his last moments. Officials also revealed the military dog used in the mission was slightly wounded during the chase by live electrical wires. The 4-year veteran has since returned to duty.
You're right. It's the format is part of the format when we end a war and save. We're basically Japanese. Save face is we make. So Saddam Hussein was in the spider hole. Gaddafi was in the sewer pipe. And this one, and I have to say, Trump did one better. He died like a dog in a tunnel with kids.
So why would he grab 2 kids and go into this hole and then blow himself up? Does this make sense to anybody?
No, it makes zero sense. The whole thing and the little animations. Come on, it's insulting. It's just insulting. And then apparently and now of course everyone's going nuts over this. Let me see what I have here. Apparently, among documents found in Baghdadi's ISIS compound, they always have a compound.
30,000 emails.
Yes. Comms from the U.S. State Department from 2010 to 2011. Classified, but you know who was in the State Department. I mean, this is just where it spawns so much bull crap and distraction. And
when they showed the overhead shots, I only saw it on this crazy report of the bombs hitting the area from wherever.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's from a bomber.
We don't know. I mean, it's reversed video because, with an iPhone, even the iPhone 5 that I use, which is, of course, cloaked. But have you seen the iPhone with the 3 cameras? You can get a shot with that is unbelievable. No, we have to have the inverted video, reverse black is white, white is black. Here's your explosion. You can't see anything. It's a scam, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
The thing could be a complete scam, but if they're going to tell us that they show this bomb hitting the compound, which looked like a blockbuster that
looked pretty big,
blew the smithereens out of anything in the vicinity, should have killed Baghdadi and pulverized and torched those papers. But no, for some reason, the guy ends up in a tube with 2 kids and his suicide belt, and there's a bunch of carefully organized papers from Hillary.
Yeah.
Is people buying any of this?
Well, yes. Of course, if you watched Fox, they're all in on it. And they were all angry, which of course was pretty funny, about, the Washington Post had their headline, and it was mocked endlessly as, what was their headline? Austere, no, where is it now? I'm sure you read this, John, didn't you?
Oh, you're talking about the obit.
Yeah, well, the obit, it was the headline. He was the austere religious man.
Yeah, cleric, a learned scholar.
Yeah, austere religious scholar. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, and why? Now, besides the fact that was totally feeding the right-wing M5M, what is the point of them doing that? I mean, is that their wink saying, yeah, we know this is bull crap, you didn't kill anything? Because I could see it that way, but
I have no
why don't
idea.
they just say it? Why doesn't anyone just go, hey, this sounds like bull crap, we killed this guy three times before?
Remember the guy that we killed 2 or 3 times was the one-eyed guy?
Oh, yeah, the Marlboro man.
The Marlboro had named after a pack of cigarettes. The guy was I guess he was in the North Sahara or some area like that.
Yeah, Mr. Marlboro.
He's in North Africa, and we killed him 2 or 3 times.
Let me see. Was it this one?
Intelligence officials believe this is the mastermind of the attack, Mokhtar Belmokhtar, a ruthless rogue Al-Qaeda
Mokhtar Belmokhtar, that's the guy.
leader who bizarrely also runs an African organized crime network that reportedly has made tens of millions of dollars in ransom from kidnappings and the successful smuggling of diamonds, drugs, and cigarettes.
But also, and we've forgotten about it because it's so long ago, let's just remember those videos, those ISIS videos, the highly produced. They don't do that anymore. I guess the studio shut down or something.
Yeah, the London studio shut down.
Yeah, they had they had the flames, the guy in the cage, and they had the beheadings, which always cut to black right at the right moment, and they had the dramatized sound, even choom choom choom, and slow mo of these ISIS fighters
song
coming
they used
out
to play over relentlessly.
Yes, well, that's actually one of our.
We now play it relentlessly.
Well, no, a long time ago we decided, or around this time, that it would make sense to set up a reminder for people of, what is going on with my system here? Oops. Oh boy. Here we go.
Donate to a no agenda.
Oh, yeah.
They give us shirts week after
That's the
week.
tone. That's
Donate to a no agenda. It's a show that's really unique. Donate to a no agenda. Listen to John and Adam speak. Donate to a no agenda. Science is turning into a clique.
I mean, that's promotion right there. But they stopped.
It was based on a recruitment song.
I don't want to say anything, but yeah, it was based on a recruit. Now we both have the Sharpton gaff. I have it lined up.
I have the whole thing followed by I took a ISO which combined it because he gaffed twice.
Yeah, all right. Yes, he did. Well, if you got some editing work in there, I don't want to.
Well, I have editing work done only on the ISO.
Okay, but do you have the full clip too?
I have the full clip. It's called Sharpton. Where is it?
No,
my naming just.
Yeah, you're out of whack today.
Terrible today. I'm sorry. Complete Sharpton Baghdadi comment.
Gotcha. So here is the full on.
President Trump said that because of the killing of al-Baghdadi, that the world is a better place. And I would give credit to he and those that were responsible for it. But we have a lot of work that must still be done in the area of terrorism. In the same area of the world where al-Baghdadi was, and in our own nation.
So that was him screwing up, and I combined his first gap with the second to make this little ISO.
Baghdadi was.
It's a good end of show ISO for me. What a tool. And he's sitting there. He's probably just sitting there going, man, I hope I don't mess this up, because he says, my critics will like that I did that. And then because he's thinking that, at the top of the show, he goes into, oh, crap, bag. Oh, man. Millions the guy makes. Millions, I tell you. Well, good for him. Let's see. Now, of course, we've already heard that the president was lame because ISIS already had a new leader, and Baghdadi probably wasn't running the group anyway. And then the Obama White House photographer said, "Well, that picture of you and the boys in brass, and that was staged." Yeah, they were all looking at the camera. Of course, it was staged. But what he's saying is it wasn't as good as the one with with Hillary and Obama in the war room. He's just not good enough, not presidential.
Which is the shot that guy took.
Yes, exactly. So
that's the best shot. Why come I didn't win a Pulitzer for that?
That's what he's saying. Precisely. Horrible man. Anyway, so, yeah, I'm not buying. I guess.
By the way, that's the one, if you look at it carefully, that's where Hillary's smelling her finger.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, you can take a look at the picture.
She's smelling her finger.
Yes, you look at that picture and you can see it.
Okay.
By the way, just as a little aside, did you follow the little episode where Trump posted a picture of him giving a dog the medal?
Yeah, which was
of honor.
Yeah, well, someone photoshopped that, obviously.
Yeah,
and then I saw serious
everyone
news
goes
reports.
Nuts.
It's photoshopped. No kidding. I mean that. It's I don't know. I don't even know what to say at this point. It's so. I mean, I guess that's what Obama meant by we're not all perfect. Sometimes good people do weird stuff. I love it because for us, we know exactly what he's doing. He's trolling the media, and they all bite on it. It's just, come on. And it was a dog talking about biting. I mean, it's just nuts.
Oh, good one. Talk about biting. It was a German Shepherd.
Telling you. Who was apparently slightly wounded. That I didn't know.
Yeah. Dogs get wounded.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
So we got that out of the way.
Yes, thank goodness we did. Well, we might as well stick with a little bit of this since it's top of the hour. A little bit of, let's see, any more impeachment stuff we need to talk about? No. I mean, what is this one so fast? And maybe just good to reiterate that it was 3 weeks, not even 4 weeks ago that the transcript came out, and we read the transcript and didn't see any issue. And now, fast forward, we're voting to vote. And apparently the ellipses in the transcript were words that were not included in the final transcript. So now there's there's some controversy over, there's ellipses, or, parens, ... parens. And in two spots, and apparently that's where Trump said something of great importance that should immediately have him rousted from the Oval Office. Or something like that.
That's terrible.
Well, yeah. All right, so let's look at the most recent Hillary rumor. Do you have anything? Because we're still kind of waiting to celebrate your win.
It better get pretty soon because the deadline for some of these primaries is around October 5th. I'm sorry, November 5th. November 5th.
And
so she has to make her move by, I'd say by the end of the month, which is like tomorrow.
No, today is the end of the month.
Oh, I thought tomorrow was the end of the month.
No, tomorrow's the 32nd. Today is the 31st.
Okay.
Here, Bill Clinton was on some kind of panel. It's only a very short soundbite, so I may have to play it twice. And the question was, is Hillary running?
She may or may not ever run for anything, but I can't legally run for president again.
Maybe the question was, will we see a Clinton in the White House? But he left it open. She may or may not run. Well, what if it's not this? What would she run for? PTA?
Well, I don't think she can get that gig. I don't know. I don't know what the point of that was and what he was trying to get at. He wasn't. I don't know. All I know is it's got to happen pretty soon. She could skip a primary or two and not really hurt herself, and she might want to do that because the New Hampshire and Iowa, the first two that come up, one's a caucus. Those are never really predictive, and people have won those and lost. And Bernie's probably a shoo-in to win New Hampshire.
Right.
So, or Warren, either one of them, they're from the area, so it's going to be slanted. So maybe she should just skip it and jump in South Carolina, where she would win.
Tom Steyer is doing the rounds. He got a nice piece in the New York Times today.
What?
He's still apparently
running. Advertising in the New York Times, so they had to give him some space. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. And this was Oh, well, he Tom Steyer. Yep. He was right all along. His work, it did it. Because that was his whole thing, was the impeach now movement, whatever, which he spent, they say, double-digit millions. And so apparently that is, thank you very much, Tom Steyer. You've done it. But yeah, more likely, just needed to add a little bit of benefit for the big advertiser that he is.
Yeah, I'm sure they took him out to dinner, too. Very common.
But what is interesting is Twitter coming out and saying that they will not take any political advertisements for the 2020 election.
Now, this is a company I would consider shorting for making that kind of a decision.
And they say they only had $3 million lined up. I mean, this, just so everyone understands, the biggest moment of all media advertising, in particular television and in the past 4 years online, is an election.
Also newspapers.
Yeah, also newspapers, but a lot of it goes towards television. Yeah. Newspapers, that's where you get your extra bennies. But yes, I agree. For Twitter to say, no, we're not going to do that. I mean, is Jack Dorsey really that ideological? Is he really trying to be kumbaya on this?
He's not benefiting the shareholders. I'd roust him.
Well, Facebag skyrocketed after their earnings yesterday, which came on the heels of this Twitter announcement and Facebag saying, no, we think it's fair. We think, it's...
They're not idiots.
It's no, of course not. Do you know how much they made in the third quarter revenue?
I didn't notice.
$17.6 billion in a quarter. In a quarter.
Yeah.
That's insane. And 90% of it from mobile advertising. Now, I don't have Facebook anymore. And I think most people use it on their phone. But believe me,
they shouldn't.
It's not from a display ad you saw on your... I mean, they call it advertising. I'm not buying it. This is from all the data and everything they're tracking on you and every other app that is connects to the graph. It's...
you're just a guinea pig if you have mobile Facebook.
But now their cost did go up quite a bit. I think they had an extra. They went from 7 to 10 billion in. They just I read it as cost. So they're profitable. I don't know by how much. But that's quite an increase in costs, and that, of course, is people that they've had to bring in to censor everything, and they've got their high commission command. And when will everybody just give up on this drivel? Drivel,
never.
Man. Drivel. There are people very upset about Facebag saying they will not ban political advertisements as it relates to Brexit. As we now, let me check. Oh my God! Aren't they supposed to leave today? Isn't this the last day?
Oh, that's right. Today's the day.
Yeah. No.
Well, let's see who hit that one on the nose.
What?
You did.
Yeah, of course. I said it's not going to happen, and I had a lot of people.
I agreed with you.
Of course,
but you're the one who said it first.
Yeah. And now it'll be interesting to see what happens.
General election.
Well, general election, and who is going to benefit from knowing how to work Facebag? I mean, will it be
Brexit Party?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the Brexit Party. Now, have we heard? Is Farage all in? He's running to be elected, or is he holding Johnson's feet to the fire? Or do we know anything? Any strategy?
Well, I can tell you from listening to his LBC show for a long time that he, I believe, was holding his feet to the fire, but then this is the sidetrack that took place because Johnson was outflanked by the both parties actually, and lost his majority and is going to be out. But but nobody wants to take the job, which is the joke of it.
Right.
So he's still running the place. This is true, by the way.
Tim was like, "No, I'll do it next time. I'm good. I'm good with this PM stuff."
And so they're going to have another general election, which will put should make a huge change. The liberal Democrats think they're going to pick up some seats. They're the worst, and then there's the Brexit Party, which hopes to make some inroads. They probably won't do as well as they should, but
now is Dominic Cummings
fiasco?
Is Dominic Cummings? Is he working with Farage? You know who he is, right? He's the guy who did the whole Brexit campaign. And
right, the guy that did the movie about.
Yeah, because I know he went into the Boris Johnson camp. Well, I guess he's going to... No, I'm reading... Here he is, article right here. Dominic Cummings to remain at Boris Johnson's side in election campaign. So he's the guy who knows how to do it.
Yeah.
And it'll be very interesting.
He knows how to do it to a point because he hasn't done it.
Well, what do you mean? He did the Brexit vote.
It accomplished what?
Okay. All right. He wasn't able to mind control the members of parliament, apparently. The people worked fine. I guess it's the people's fault. Thank you for clarifying. Boris did do a little tribute to the speaker, John Bercow, as this is his final goodbye. I don't know how many times we're going to say goodbye to this guy, but I think
it's like a bad penny.
I think this is it.
But Mr. Speaker, I know the whole House will want to join me in recording that after 10 tumultuous years, this is your last Prime Minister's questions. And as befits a distinguished former Wimbledon competitor, you have sat up there in your high chair, and not just as an umpire, ruthlessly adjudicating on the finer points of parliamentary procedure with your trademark Tony Montana scowl, Mr. Speaker. Not just as a commentator, offering your own opinions on the rallies you are watching, sometimes acerbic and sometimes kindly, but above all as a player in your own right, peppering every part of the chamber with your own thoughts and opinions, like some tennis ball machine, some uncontrollable tennis ball machine, Mr. Speaker, delivering a series of literally unplayable, unreturnable, formally unreturnable volleys and smashes. And although we may disagree about some of the legislative innovations that you have favoured, and you have cared so deeply for the rights of backbenchers that you've done more than anyone since Stephen Hawking to stretch time in this particular session. And as we come to the end of what must be the longest retirement since Frank Sinatra, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure the whole House will want to join me in thanking you and hoping that you enjoy in your retirement the soothing medicament that you have so often prescribed for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Still nice.
Yeah, that Johnson has that understated British style of humor that is only at the upper reaches of the society. Very...
it's not available to the commoner.
Funny.
It's not available to the commoner, this kind of humor at all. And you had in the newsletter a whole list of countries where crap is going on.
That was a long list, too.
I actually wanted to add I emailed you and said, add the Netherlands with the farmers.
I did. I added them.
Now, there's something else going on. The Netherlands, after the farmers, now check that they have this is the nitrogen crisis.
Right, where their nitrogen,
so where
soil-based nitrogen has been.
Where else is
rationed by the EU?
Where else does nitrogen emit? In what other sectors? In the building sector, construction. I guess. Okay. I guess is it maybe when they make cement or something somewhere.
I don't know this.
So check this out. Because of the nitrogen crisis. This is the headline in the Netherlands. Because of the nitrogen crisis, the government has put on hold for months now 18,000 construction permits. So the building sector has stopped, and now they're like, what? And so now the building contractors and construction guys are going to The Hague. I don't know if they're going with cranes and sledgehammers, but now
they could do some damage.
But the government is already talking about emergency payments for people who are going to be let go.
We need details on this.
Well, as it turns out, I am going to Gitmo Lowlands. I will be doing Sunday show from there. I've been invited to participate, which means they paid for a ticket and anything to go see my kid.
A free trip.
Right. I've been invited to celebrate 100 years of radio in the Netherlands. So
you're not that old.
So this will undoubtedly be a television show with a whole bunch of people with the face perfect for radio on television, which is always a little jarring. And I will be there through Thursday for the Thursday show. That's just logistics. And I will get a boots-on-the-ground report, as well as hopefully some information about the farmers in Germany. But I think this is a scam.
You think?
Well, but it's a scam. It's not. The farmers aren't really protesting. They're not really up in arms, and they have. This...
Oh, you think the farmer thinks it's a scam? What about the nitrogen?
No. Hold on. That's the Netherlands. Now I'm talking about Germany.
Oh, you're talking about Germany.
Yeah. Now I'm talking about Germany. The Germans. Apparently, the German farmers are up in arms, but not for the same reasons as the Dutch. And up in arms in this report, which you're only going to hear, there was one tractor parked near some government office. When you hear the players involved, you understand it. But oh no, the Germans are not just protesting, they are suing das deutsche government.
Well, I'm here outside the courthouse with perhaps a very physical, symbolic representation of the farming community here. Tractors have actually shut down the road outside of the...
Seriously, one tractor in the shot. No B-roll, so no.
Courthouse, and there's a peaceful demonstration going on there behind me in solidarity with the farmers as this very landmark court hearing begins today. The German government stands accused of failing to stick to its climate targets, most notably failing to stick to its targets to drastically cut CO2 emissions. And Greenpeace and the farmers who are plaintiffs here today say that this is neglect and that this has allowed for the effects of climate change to...
And I can let this play out. So they are suing because, and the payoff comes at the end, because the German government neglected to hit their targets of 40% reduction in CO2. Gee, who would have thought they couldn't make it? But the government promised it. They promised it.
They promised it. And so the farmers who usually most of the time they're spent farming and working their butts off. But because of this global warming thing, they're pissed off.
But they can actually show damage. They have had damage because the government didn't hit their targets.
Take place, effects which these farmers have felt very drastically over the last 2 years alone. These farmers coming to court today have seen dramatic floods in 2017 and then drought in 2018. So
this is great. I think this is a seminal court case. So the farmers are saying, you promised you would reduce it. And since you didn't, climate change gave us a flood in 2017 and a drought in 2018. We need money.
In the history of Germany.
No, we need money now because you screwed us with your lies. This is great. So now the government is somehow going to have to say, well, the fire, the drought, and the flood really wasn't from climate change? Or do they have to agree? Because...
They have to agree and pay. This may be a great scam.
Thank you.
Earlier, I spoke to Lisa Goldner, who is a Greenpeace climate change expert, and she told me why the German government still has a long way to go to meet its targets.
Well, since 2007, the German government has repeatedly said that they want to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 40% until the year 2020. And there's a lot of measures that the government could still take to achieve that target. And the most obvious one is to shut down coal power plants, because they're still one of the biggest emitters of greenhouse gases in Germany.
So the scam works like this, I guess. You and I will buy a piece of land, No Agenda Farms, we'll call it. And we just let it sit there. Maybe we have someone roll a tractor over it to make it look like we did something, throw some seeds around, and then just wait for some weather, because eventually some weather will happen, and then we go sue everybody. It sounds doable, kind of.
That actually sounds like an exit strategy.
No. I have our exit strategy.
Oh?
Yep.
Pray tell.
Well, once again, Jennifer Buchanan put out another animated video for No Agenda. This is our Dame, the Gitmo Nation choir, the Penis Choir, I think they're called, but Chris Wilson and the whole gang who put the Dame song together. Did you see the video?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's obvious. We are the new South Park. All we need to do is have Jennifer just create 22 minutes a week of cool video of just stuff we're talking about, because apparently it's funny. And then we cut a deal with Comedy Central and we're done. We're exit. We're out. We have over almost 1,200 episodes of material.
Yeah. Well, she's going to have to be a partner then.
Well, of course. Of course, we'll cut her in. But
we could do that.
This is a total exit strategy.
Yeah, we could do a 22-minute show. It has to be commercial breaks.
No. You're missing it. See, if we write something, almost number one rule of the show. Whenever we script something, it fails. It sucks. It's horrible. So just take pieces of our show that are funny. It's almost like the end of show mixes, really. And then do it in video. And then you just stick a whole bunch of them one after another.
Yeah, you can do that. I'm just saying they have to be done with a clock.
Well, yes, 22 minutes. There have to be 3 commercial breaks, obviously. If that's what you meant, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we just take pieces from the show, and then we're done. And then we kick back, and then, once in a while, let's do a show. We say, let's do a show, and we'll do a show, and then Jennifer...
Wow, we're going to run out. Well, actually, with 1,200 shows in the can...
Yeah.
I suppose we've got enough for years and years of these animations.
Yeah.
And they're good. They're very entertaining.
I mean, she already has the character development is done.
She's good at it. She's like very talented, and she seems to be able to crank them out.
That's what I'm saying. It's
better
than South Park.
Gig where she only had to crank out, let's say, 2 a week so we can get ahead.
And here's how we sell
it. Could manage that. She loves this tool. It's a tool, she calls it.
Hi, guys. Thanks for inviting us. John and I have been partners with Jennifer just recently in the No Agenda. We need a better name than No Agenda. For our animated series.
We come up with anything, a better name. And you're going to be the guy giving the blowjobs.
And the... What? Well, I'm working on our pitch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So here, it's Rick and Morty meets South Park. Come on, who wouldn't want that?
Rick and Morty meets South Park. Perfect.
Everybody would want that. It's a great show.
The right gambit.
I mean,
something meets something.
And it's just like South Park, just you throw in some characters and all of a sudden Hillary swoops by, she's flying. It's the same thing, only we make it a hell of a lot cheaper. And we can, reduce our workload.
I think we can coast in on this one.
Kick back and watch the dough roll in, brother.
We haven't have her approve it.
I'm sorry?
And then she has not approved this idea. But if she does and she's in, then she could probably hire a couple people to do it. She doesn't do anything.
She can retire too. It's perfect.
She could be the art director. Say, no, I don't. No. You got to have it's got to be blue capes. Blue capes.
I want to tell everybody something. I've known John C. Dvorak for a bit. He's actually enthusiastic about this idea. He's not taking this as a joke. Am I right?
Yeah, I think it's actually doable. Because the last one she did, which was the little Broadway musical thing,
yes,
I thought was professional. It was at a level. It was at the highest level that I think you can achieve. It's extremely professional. It's something that if I saw it on TV or on Netflix,
you'd hit the DVR series record in a heartbeat.
I would definitely, if it was on Netflix, I'd watch it.
Actually,
we could do a deal with Netflix.
Well, actually,
and Amazon's up for right now is a good time because these guys
they're starving.
We need to produce a package. We need to do the pilot.
Yes, we need to do the pilot. So someone needs to find the right clips for the pilot.
Yeah,
not you and I. Hey, that doesn't mean you have to do anything, John. It's like I'm putting it out there. Hey, someone has to go find the right clips. Send those to Jennifer.
We may have to. The team is going to probably be expanded from the 3 of us.
Team.
I'm thinking like Chris probably has to get involved because half the material's his.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he's the songster, and we got other guys that do it. It'll be actually take a look at the credit roll for South Park.
Right. Call those people.
And take a look at the credit roll and see how many people there are, and that's probably how many people we're going to need. These are big budget productions.
Well, that's what
these things. They go on Netflix. There's millions and millions of dollars involved. It's not as though
yes, exactly.
They're giving somebody $50 to go do this stuff.
No, and we can play them off against each other. It's like, well, we just left Netflix, Jeff Bezos. So I don't know. Do you guys want to do a better offer for us? Because we're kind of all in for that.
Well, I don't know if that being a good sales pitch, but we'll worry about it.
Well, that's what all the documentary guys are doing. That they'll go to Netflix and Amazon and play them off against each other.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah, and another piece of
Hulu's in existence, and now Apple's doing some dumb thing.
Yeah,
they've got the 2 or 3 TV shows they're doing.
I think if we want no one to see it and make the most money, we give it to Apple. That's the way.
Well,
that's the way to go. That's the way to go.
If they make the most money as part of that equation.
Yeah, but we could put the pipelines in there. There's a lot of stuff you can do. As long as it's funny, it's got to be funny. And another bit of PR news, we got a nice mention. I got a mention actually on the Joe Rogan show. But within like the first 12 minutes of the show, which is really good because that's...
Yeah, I saw that. Let me give you... I'm going to give my impression of it. Joe Rogan's talking. He says, well, there's a lot of... we're like the first generation of podcasters. We started in 2009, even though it's not even close. But okay. I mean, Leo Laporte was doing podcasting way before that, and you were way before him. And so he's like third generation maybe. But he's going on and I says, and the people that invented podcast, Kevin Smith jumps in and says, Adam Curry's is like the podcast father. He's been doing stuff forever. You should get him on this show. Rogan. Yeah, sure. And then he continues. Rogan was not enthusiastic about this idea. And I think he hates you.
And then you're really increasing the chances here. And then Kevin Smith, bless his heart, says, hey, remember when I told you to have Macaulay so basically I'm the Macaulay Culkin of podcasting. If I'm lucky, I can get on. Because apparently Macaulay Culkin was a good
guest. It wasn't Macaulay Culkin.
He said Macaulay Culkin. I saw the thing. He said, I told you to get Macaulay Culkin on, and he was great. And Joe said, yes. So Kevin Smith said, get him on. Anyway, thank you to everybody who went to...
You should be thanking Kevin Smith.
Well, I'm going to thank him in a minute. Thank you to everybody who went to Rogan.com/contact and filled out the form as me.
Oh, that helps.
Yeah. So everyone's like, hey, it's either this. I'm a producer, which is exactly what you want to do. But there's also people who just fill in my name, my email address, and say, hey, I want to be on the show. Anyway, I did hear from Matt, the booker.
Oh, you did? Well, then you're in. You're good
Well,
to go.
No, I wouldn't say that. He said, I will run it by Joe. That to me means no. And I don't understand. I mean, look, if you don't know anything about me, I'm sure Joe's vision is, oh, that guy.
Well, okay, let's back up. Let's meta this a little bit. Joe Rogan was a MMA guy. He's actually a fighter, and he looks it. And he's a stand-up comic fighter, tough guy. He's a tough guy. He's a big dude, and he remembers you as a guy with long blonde hair, kind of wispy. He's thinking, oh, this guy's a pencil neck geek. I don't want him on my show.
Or maybe he just thinks he'll be boring. But so when Matt,
well, you wouldn't be boring. You're good. You're a good interviewer.
But he doesn't know that. And to spice it up, when Matt the booker got back to me, I said, "Hey, I promise you." No, what did I say? Yes, it's about time I showed Joe how to roll the professional Amsterdam coffee shop spliff. And because these guys are all about the weed. I mean, I'm a perfect guest for this show.
That's what surprises me the most. Insofar as the week, because Kevin Smith, You watch this guy on the Joe Rogan show, and he brings boxes of weed.
His own weed, which sounds super
and
good.
And he's stoned.
Wheelchair
and you
weed.
wonder why this guy's not doing anything creative. He's wasted.
What are you talking about? He's touring with his
some little movie. I mean, come on,
Bob and Silent. It's the reboot. No, it's not okay.
He's done Clerks 1, Clerks 2.
Why
Clerks
are you gonna, no, I'm going to protect Kevin in this. You know, he also just
on your side.
Hey, FYI, he had a massive heart attack and almost died, so he's just getting back from that. FYI.
Yeah, well, again, you know,
the Widowmaker. No, I know what it is.
So he's like, you know, on the show, and they're talking about dope and smoking and that.
I've done DMT. I can talk about
hold
that.
his own with any of these guys.
I've done DMT. I can talk about my experience, but more importantly, we can talk a little bit about podcasting, the early days. That'd be fun. That's 10 minutes, and then we could talk about crazy shit. I know lots of stuff.
Yeah, well,
but when Matt said that I'll run it by Joe, I was like, Anyway, I ended my note.
That's the old kiss of death.
I ended my note by saying, regardless, please tell Joe that I never imagined my invention would be taken to such incredible heights, and it makes me happy. And that's true, because Joe Rogan is the Tonight Show of our era. There's nothing compares to it, because it's completely opposite of these bogus talk show formats. That's what makes it so great. Anyway, I'd love to be on, but I'm trying to get a hold of Kevin because he's doing a show in Austin tomorrow. Well, that's why he has this, what he calls wheelchair weed. I'm like, I want to go talk to Kevin, see what's going on with that weed. Although I doubt he brought it into Texas if he's smart. Be a little careful with that. So, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see what happens.
Your goal for this year, you set it in January. You're still working on it. I'm glad that you're at least consistent.
You know, and there's always...
Well, my goal is to get an interview with William Shatner, and I can't do that, and people pounding him. I heard him do a voiceover for Amco or something the other day.
This is what we're doing wrong. You need to pay him. That's how he comes on.
That's probably right.
That's what you need.
What am I thinking?
Oh, my goodness. Well, with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in Can't Get Booked on Joe Rogan, John C. Dvorak.
And the morning to you, Mr. M. Kerr. Also in the morning, all ships and sea boots on the ground, subs in the water, and all the dames and nights out there.
In the morning to everyone in the troll room, noagendastream.com is where we like to see the trolls hang out during our live shows on both Thursdays of the week, or alternatively, if you listen on Sundays, that works too. And it's noagendastream.com. You can listen to us. You can jump in the chat room, troll along, but there's tons of shows. In fact, it's 24/7 operation, so you can check in anytime. There's always someone there, even just to answer a question or just to chat. It's a good place to hang, and there's actually very little triggering going on, considering it's pretty much free and open for all trolls to come in. And I'd also like to wish a hearty in the morning to Yuker. Yuker, Yooker, who brought us the avant-garde artwork for episode 1185. We titled that one Resilience, which is what your power grid will be once we get the microgrids in place. And it was for our 12th anniversary, our celebration. And I thought it was a little off-center, honestly. John immediately told me this was avant-garde.
Yeah, I thought it was the most striking avant-garde piece. Now, it's possible he just put this, because this could happen. He just put some dumb 12 into the code generator that they have, and it just pushed it off center, so it was actually not his doing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible that was it, but it still was avant-garde.
Don't you think that maybe Van Gogh at a certain point went, squiggly line? Hey, good. I'm keeping that. I'm sure these guys have that. So, yeah,
I'm going with this.
NoAgendaArtGenerator.com is where you can look at all of the art. There's a lot of great Halloween art that people did for the pre-show today. It's this great art. It's all in the eye of the beholder, but I think I love it all. I love all the effort and thinking that goes into it.
Today's Halloween.
Today is Halloween. And you can You can use this to, you can print them out if you want. You can make your own gear, or go to noagendashop.com where they do it for you and the artist gets a piece of the action. Affordable and always great quality, I think. It's so Euchre, Yooker, is Sir Euchre, Euchre. So it is one of our knights. But I don't think he'd ever had an art piece chosen before, had he?
No, I don't know that he ever sent one in.
Was this his first? Yeah, problem.
No,
he had a couple others. Yeah, but I don't think.
But they're recent. I think he's got 4 in maybe total.
Okay. All right.
Well, let's thank a few people for producing show 1186.
And these are real producers. We have seen now what it means to be a producer. And we're taking that to the next level with our Comedy Central show. Our Netflix animated series. So these are people who should probably go along for the ride eventually. Don't you think?
Yes.
I mean, if you're an executive producer or have been in the past, you should just get a credit on one of the episodes somewhere. You got to get it. Or actually makes more sense. Here we go. Every single snippet we take from an episode, which is animated and used in our Netflix animated series, then the people who were the execs and associate execs for that particular episode, they get credit on the Netflix animated series.
Yes, I think that's good. That would encourage more people to join in.
I just want to keep saying our Netflix animated series. So
I know you love saying that.
So people get used to it. Who are the execs for today, John?
Well, first of all, we start with John Patrick in Decatur, Illinois at 35791. Post-anniversary respect. The best podcast in the universe keeps getting better. 2 Thursdays a week. Thanks to you both for a reportage that keeps my amygdala normal sized.
I'll give him some
respect. He's referring to
some respect.
Yeah.
Maybe
RESPICT.
Baghdadi.
Baghdadi.
Baghdadi. It's the H that messed Al up. You know it. There's an H in there. Baghdadi.
Meanwhile, a Dame Anonymous Lesbian comes in with $315.11.
Oh.
Which is nice.
We have not heard from the Dame Anonymous Lesbian.
I think she used to give us $50 a month and always marking sanity on her note on the check.
Yes.
And I think she's decided that it's better to do it this way. So just 6 months, boom, $300. It's an executive producer. And gets a card read. We read her stuff anyway because she's so unique.
Because she's, unique.
So she writes on a card, a very nice card that came in from a little company in Victoria, BC. Nice card. Congratulations on 12 years of sanity. Please send me some green card interview karma.
Oh.
So she has apparently moved herself from Scandinavia to New York.
Oh, wow. That's great.
And she has a complaint already, which I don't blame her.
Well, can I just stick with the green card interview?
Oh, yes. You have a tip.
Yes. Well, first of all, you have nothing to worry about. You really don't. I don't know if she's green carding based upon work or if she's if there's a relationship, because you can get a green card for that too, or if she, I don't know, but for sure. If you need them, we'll be your references. They can call us right from the meeting. And we will confirm that you are an executive producer of the No Agenda show, soon to be featured in a Netflix animated series.
Actually, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I'm all in.
Okay. So just so she knows, we're here for you.
We'll give you some phone numbers. Also, can you please, this is what her complaint is. She seemed irked about this. Also, can you please tell the dames and knights in New York City to have some meetups? I'm drowned, and this is unlike her. She's usually very, very positive.
Mm-hmm.
She's in New York City, obviously. I'm drowning in moronic libtards here.
Boy, she's not a very good LGBTQ community member now, is she?
No, not at all. Also, I highly approve of the Dame Drive. We need more babes at the round table. Thank you for your courage, Dame Anonymous Lesbian. Okay.
There is nothing like a dame. Nothing in the world. Gimbo Nation will acclaim. There ain't anything like a dame.
And I'm looking to see if there is a meetup scheduled in New York. I don't see one for all of November at all.
I'm looking at you, Dame Tanya. You're going to have to organize these things.
I'm going to hit a little...
Or Viscountess Dame Tanya.
I'm going to throw a little karma
I think she's the highest ranked person in New York.
A little karma for our Dame Anonymous Lesbian.
You've got karma.
Libtard karma.
That's libtard, which is a term we don't use on the show.
We don't use it on the show. That's why it's interesting that it comes up.
Yeah, I don't like the term personally. But that was green card karma, so you know.
Yes, green card.
Jonathan Sursky becomes our first associate executive producer, 255.55. Can I get a Pelosi-Trump jobs karma? Maybe. It does work better for Canadians. Another one pushing his luck.
Yeah, all right. But you have to circle back and let us know.
Yeah, this Pelosi-Trump, the combo, which is the one where they'd go back and forth, I believe. My interview should be just finishing as this airs. Thanks for keeping me sane. Another sanity-provoked listener. Over the past 12 years... John, please, if you're wondering why SpicyKeyboard.com redirects to No Agenda, the hint is in your name, LOL.
Is that true?
SpicyKeyboard.com?
SpicyKeyboard.com. Yeah, it goes to No Agenda Show. Creative. I like it a lot. Thank you so much.
Jobs.
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 And jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
So it's in my name. So it's John, where the C stands for cinnamon.
No, C stands for curry. The D is the keyboard, you dope. Ever hear of a Dvorak keyboard?
Oh, the Dvorak keyboard. Yeah, I've heard of them. John Logan, $250, parts unknown USA. After 3 years of douchebaggery, I finally saw the needed to return value for value received. Thanks to you two, I'm no longer an NPC hell-bent on perpetuating this frightening alternative reality of Dimension B. Jingles. Well, give him a de-douching for starters.
You've been de-douched.
He wants, oh my God, look at that juice, electrify my balls, and Yoko Ono's great gig in the sky. Sorry, John. Thanks again, gentlemen.
Well, was there 3 or 2? I'm sorry, did I miss that?
There's 3. There's oh my God, look at the juice, electrify my balls, and I got the love that, he do it. Then Yoko Ono.
Okay, all right.
Oh my gosh. Can you see that juice?
It's electrifying my balls.
You've got karma.
A nice pickup line. Baroness Monica, $200.77. Happy.
Wait, I shall try it. Good one. Okay.
Hey, babe, you're electrifying my balls.
The more you learn on the No Agenda Show.
Hey, happy birthday. Happy belated anniversary. Keep it up, boys. I'd like to request jobs karma for Ken. Baroness Monica.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
Did you do the Pelosi jobs karma, Trump jobs karma earlier?
Yeah, I did Pelosi Trump. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I forgot it. Richard Brodowski in Smyrna, Georgia. 200 even. Forgive me, potfathers, for I have sinned. It's been a year since J.D. Smith hit me in the mouth, and this is my first donation. May I please get a de-douching?
You've been de-douched.
Thanks for you both for all you do and for recreating the best podcast in the universe and deconstructing the M5M. I don't have much to say, but I like some jobs karma. I'm up for a promotion at work. I'd also like some election day karma for J.D. Smith, who is running for a city council seat where he and I both live. Thanks.
Yeah, very good. And I encourage anyone to consider, if you have the time, to run for city council. You're pretty powerful. And it's a good step into politics. And obviously J.D. Smith hit you in the mouth, so he's a listener, producer. Do you recognize the name? Do you know if he has any title? Because
J.D.? I don't know.
I don't know. But we need more politicians in no agenda politicians. In fact, you can run on the no agenda ticket. I'm just saying, it's a thought. Here's the
jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
In fact, we'll give a special election day karma for JD with a goat twist.
You've got karma.
Nice.
Stephen Schnuel, I think. $200 flat out.
Schnuel.
I think it's Schnuel.
Yeah.
This donation is on behalf of the muscadine wine lovers like me. The one thing John got incorrect was the size of the muscadine. It may be the size of a cherry tomato, not a medium-sized tomato. They are very large, but nowhere near an apricot. Maybe not. They get pretty big.
Did you get a note from Mo?
Yeah, I got a note from Mo.
He says that
he says he's got a muscadine wine I got to try.
And he says that as a kid he grew up eating apricot-sized muscadines.
Well, the biggest grapes I've seen are out of Georgia, so I don't know. I think they vary in size.
I think he was in
Somebody sent me a picture of two different sized muscadine grapes, and one of them, the big one, was the size about, I think, a third bigger than the size of a quarter in terms of its diameter.
Well, that wonderful chat has made it into the end of show mixes, so people can look forward to that.
The rest he got right. And I love my The rest I got right. You're talking about it tastes dreadful as wine? Is that what you're talking about? And I love my muscadine wine challenge. I am from the South. Well, I would hope so. No jingles, no karma.
Spoken like a true Yankee. Nice. Well, and that's it? That is it, isn't it?
That's it. That's all we got. There is no more.
Well,
a little short today.
We do want to thank profusely these producers who stepped up and showed their value. And again, if you're new to the show, no corporate interests here, no commercials, no ads, no underwriting, sponsorships. And if we talk about a product, because we mean it, good or bad. But to keep the lights on, which has been working for the past 12 years, we've said, hey, don't pay for the show if it gives you no value. If you do, just tell us what the value is. That's the part that the mainstream never figured out. Even the mainstream of podcasting never figured that out. That if you have an outstanding product, it will be valuable to different people in different ways. And if you can't support us financially, you know you're doing a good job with your notes, with your expertise, with your remixes, your jingles, your artwork, and just propagating the formula, hitting people in the mouth. And we thank you so much for that. And you can continue to do that, or if you haven't, do it this coming Sunday. Go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
That's right, baby. Soon to be an animated Netflix series. You can count on it.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order! Shut up, slave.
And I did want to give a little shout out to Aaroner, who runs noagendasocial.com. This is all open source software, the Mastodon platform. We have our own little corner of the Fediverse at noagendasocial.com. You can get an invite in the troll room, or if you go to any of the show notes, nashownotes.com, noagendashownotes.com, there is a link there what you can use to sign up. And he's keeping that thing running, but there's a lot of issues when you have, there was a big version upgrade, and what people don't understand how much data this Mastodon stuff eats. I mean, we have I think we have like 10 terabytes of drive space now hooked up to it. Because it's just, with the pictures and the...
We're just a node.
We're just a node, and we're blocked by a lot of the big nodes.
Well, then you have to stop yourself for a second and think. Twitter's not just a node, it's all of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those guys must be dying.
And this is why the shadow banning and the missing things, and they do everything they can to keep from sending this stuff out. I believe that Twitter is over their heads, over their heads.
And probably
they can't do what they claim that they're doing.
And I think the algos is the problem in their case. Is they might be able to do it just on a feed basis, but having all that modified in real time for each individual user, that's a lot of resources.
Yeah, it's way over.
And they're not even cracking $1 billion a quarter. Those guys are toast. but my point is, Aaron is doing this, on the side. He took over for me because I couldn't deal with it anymore, and the price was becoming astronomical. He has his own metal servers, he's got the hardware, he's got racks, and he's got bandwidth, and so he's really donating that in his time. So for those of you who are surprised or are pissed off about it being down from time to time, think about that. It's a lot of work. It's he's doing it on the side, but it's so resource intensive, and then you want to do an upgrade. Just backing up our system, it takes hours because of the voluminous amounts of data. That said, I miss it too when it goes down. And John, I know you're crying.
I'm beside myself when it goes down.
You're in the corner, just wanting to cry. You're rocking back and forth. I understand.
Just like Elbag Gagagagigi.
Did you see the most recent Amazing Polly?
No, I did not see the most Amazing Polly's recent effort.
Well, Amazing Polly is a Scandinavian YouTuber, and she connects the dots, man. She connects the dots. And she
connects dots where there are no dots to connect. Well, she's so good at it.
She connected dots in your backyard. Yes, sirree, Bob. She connected some big dots.
And I missed it.
Well, I'm going to play a little clip for you of the Amazing Polly.
She hates me. There we go.
As much as I hate dogs?
No way.
That's just a joke, everybody. I love dogs. I've had several dogs, just not anymore. I don't like many dog owners. So Amazing Polly was interested in Impossible Meat, which of course, she's the Amazing Polly. She views this as an Agenda 21 type company, and she was researching who was behind it. And with Agenda 21, we mean total control over the people. You don't get to determine
population control. It needs to be done.
It's population control by controlling the temperature of your house, how far your car can drive, what you can consume. And of course, just because of climate change in general, we can't eat meat because it's just bad. We all have to be vegan. It's a lot bigger than that, but go ahead. It's not some conspiracy theory. Agenda 21 is absolutely real, and the climate change push is a part of it. Whether climate change, human-made, is true or not, it's undeniably a part of Agenda 21. So she looks at Impossible Meat, and she sees who the investors are. And, of course, she finds some names that we know who are all in on this.
Which we could call the usual suspects.
Yeah, you could call them the usual suspects, of course. And Impossible Meat has been an incredible success story. But what she was most interested in, our Amazing Polly, and I like Polly. I think she is quite amazing. She did not understand the explanation of how they get the red bloodish liquid to be a part of this, for all intents and purposes, veggie burger. They explain it by saying it's a root of something, but she looked up the roots, and they're certainly not red. There's some hemoglobin that they add to it, a soy hemoglobin. Do you know how they get the actual bloodish?
How they get the red juice in the veggie burger?
Yeah, how do they do that?
I think it's the blood of babies.
The UN Environment, tackling the world's most urgent problem, meat. So I had all kinds of questions, and I was going to dig into everything. You see, here's a list of the other partners in his venture at Impossible Foods, and they're a curious bunch. Colsa Ventures, I don't know that one. Bill Gates, I know that one. Google Ventures, I know that one. And Open Philanthropy Project, I'm pretty sure that's Soros. All these other ones, I bet, have amazingly interesting people behind them as well. I would love to know, but unfortunately, I got too shocked to keep researching because as I was reading article after article, combing through for little details that might tell me how do they get the soy protein to turn red, I'm really curious about that. I'm really curious because that's an animal thing. As I was reading all these articles, I found out, I came across a detail. It was the address of their 63,000 square foot facility in Silicon Valley, California. And I thought, oh, great. I'm going to do a street view on this factory because I wanted to show a picture of it and show how it's not much more healthy for the environment than a farm is. So I did. Here it is. I Googled it. I copied and pasted it. And there's the building. Click on it. There I am, standing out front of it. It's ugly. It's white, nondescript, no windows, no name. So I'll turn around. Let's look what else is on this street. And oh my God. Do you see that? Can you read that? Planned Parenthood.
You nailed it. You nailed it. So on the Google map, Impossible Meat is right across the street from, I don't know what Planned Parenthood is doing there in Silicon Valley.
Baby chopping. That's what they're doing.
And she had to stop her investigation. Understandably.
She was too upset.
Yes.
In other words, Amazing Polly was swinging through town for some reason, threw together this package, and then found it a beautiful out. Good work.
Yeah, well, I think she did a great job.
Well, I'd like to find out what's causing this red. And by the way, if you think about why when you bite into an Impossible Burger or Impossible Meat, wherever this company is, there's 3 of these guys doing this. Do you have to have red juice come out? To me, it means it's undercooked.
Yeah, you would think so. Yeah.
I don't want my ground up beef to be undercooked so it's oozing red goo. No. Sorry. But why? What is the appeal of that to vegetarians or vegans? Why do they want to see red juice coming out of something?
Well, that's not the appeal to vegans. It's the appeal to people who like meat but are all in on the program.
Well, then why do the vegans put up with it? They should say, this is an abomination.
Because they don't.
Do vegans not eat just because of the red juice?
I think as a vegan, you could eat babies. I just think it's animals that's the problem.
Oh, okay. Well, that's probably true. I'll buy into that. So let's talk about the fires for a minute.
Yes, let's, because there's a lot going on, like more fires.
They're burning the place down. I'm surprised we're even on the air.
How are you? Do you have any smoke in the air at least, or
no? We did a couple of days ago. There was some. The wind was just right. It was smoky. It was okay.
So how far is the closest fire? Like 50 miles from you?
About 40 miles.
Oh, okay. So,
or actually, maybe even as far as 80 miles. I'm not sure.
But if the winds go at about 60 miles an hour, you could be scorched before the end of the show.
Well, there's no wind today, so I don't know what they're talking about.
Good.
All right. So let me first read from our producer Anonymous.
Yes,
who
actually very nice
seems
notes.
to work for PG&E.
Yep.
During episode 1185, you had prolonged discussion of the microgrid. My day job is writing software for, he's a dude named, I sent him a note back. He sent me another note back. He's a dude named Ben who works for the company. He's writing software for a company in the utility space. Mm-hmm. I literally wrote the software user interface that allows power utilities to remotely shut down your household service for some percent of utilities customers. You're welcome.
Now let's just stop for a second. So what we have talked about the utility company controlling your household usage, according to our producer, we have no reason to doubt is true. He literally wrote the software user interface that allows power utilities to remotely shut down your household service for some percent of utility customers. There you go. That's also part of Agenda 21.
And that percent of the utility customers are the ones with the smart meters. He didn't say that.
Well, of course. Or the smart appliances.
Well, your analysis was admirably cynical and has elements of truth to it. Oh, is this a good one? Elements. Folks in the energy industry see it differently. Microgrids are an invention of energy sector companies such as my employer.
Hold on a sec. Let me just backtrack. Not everybody heard the microgrids conversation. The idea is to build small little power utilities in neighborhoods. They will call it a microgrid, which will be connected to the macro grid, i.e. your power service provider. And the microgrid will be able to cover any brownouts or blackouts in the network. But in order to do that, you will need to have you will be obliged to have two-way control of some of the things that are already taking place, such as your lights. They can be remotely turned on, off, or dimmed. Your thermostat can be turned up, down, or off. Your smart fridge, your smart washing machine, and they all come with Wi-Fi. This is all part of a coincidence or a glorious plan in order to make the battery last, because it's just a big battery, and then they'll sell that, of course, as green, because we'll buy wind and solar, and they may even put solar panels on the roof, but you won't be able to use everything because the power grid goes down. Your microgrid takes over. You won't be able to use anything
because the stuff's all junk.
Yeah.
Microgrids invention. They are co-opting public interest and environmentalism to encourage transfer of control over to utilities to local governments, not to bust up utilities, but to bust up state-level regulation that is strangling the industry.
Now, this is perfect.
Remember,
this is perfect. You're seeing both sides of the argument. The politician.
Remember that it continues.
Yeah.
Remember that utilities are government-granted monopolies that are highly regulated at a state level. Regulators aren't technical experts. They should be. They should be. They are dilettante political operators answering only to corrupt political machines. Okay. Regulators, this is, by the way, when you're in the business, you do take these attitudes about
Of course.
things.
I totally understand. These different
Regulators have a veto power over anything utilities try to do via rate control. He has some errors in here that I pointed out to him, and he couldn't really back himself up. Here's an industry scenario in our business. Utility.
Hello? Yeah, so this is what happens. If you think that you can make fun of the power utility, they just cut you off. I told you, there's nothing good comes of these microgrids ever. And now let's see if John, are you there? Hello? You're fading.
Did I get cut off again?
The minute you started bitching about them and you said, oh, yes, this is how these people operate, they cut your power off.
That's funny. Where was I?
You were at the, you were being cynical. You said that he had some mistakes that you asked him about and he couldn't verify.
Okay, we're going to go back to, I'm going to read from here.
Okay.
I'm
leaving this in. That was too good.
I said, while your analysis was admirably cynical is where I got cut off?
No.
That can't be, because you went on to a thing about microgrids, which came after that.
Yeah, so pretend I just said microgrids. I'm leaving it all in because it was too beautiful. You start bitching about them and they cut your power.
Yeah, that's what happens. This is what we have to put up with. Remember that utilities are government-granted monopolies, which are highly regulated in the state at a state level. Regulators aren't technical experts, although they should be. They are dilettante political operators answerable only to corrupt political machines. This is a bit extreme. Regulators have veto power over anything utilities try to do via rate control. Well, maybe.
Why are you so cynical about his report? Because you're really poo-pooing it like, oh, maybe.
I'm not. I think everything he says is true, but he's not. Okay, because I've been on, I worked for an oil refinery, then I worked for a regulator that regulated oil refiners. I was on both sides of the fence, and being on both sides of the fence makes it, you get a little better perspective on some of this stuff. He's on one side of the fence, and so he's getting one side. He's never been on the other side.
Okay,
and it's you can tell that it's just an extreme position. You end up with an extreme position.
But this is what I like, because we're hearing the position of inside the power companies. They're feeling like they're under attack. There's idiots who've not let them do anything. That's their words. And that this is now all because they just want to, ruin us to do something else. Or is that not what he says?
That's kind of what he says. In fact, I don't even have to read much more of this. I can jump ahead. Okay, so what happens when the routine maintenance is vetoed by the state board? Eventually, maintenance happens as a function of disaster relief. The trunk fails catastrophically and replacement happens under emergency protocols, and he goes on. He makes the comment here. He says, an insider's take in PG&E is for current PG&E debacle, the decision makers at my company behave as if they are hedging bets that California is in the process of executing a long-term hostile takeover of PG&E. You could call this nationalization, but it's on the state level. For years, California utilities commissions have been severely restricting large-scale maintenance activities of PG&E. This I don't buy. Further, the state government has severely reduced tree clearing and branch removal that keeps the rural grid healthy. I asked for a specific example of that. He could not provide one. I have branch removal on my property, and it's PG&E crews that come out, not some state
but you're
crew
not
or anybody
rural.
else.
You're not rural.
I have trees.
Yeah, but he says
There's
rural.
trees all over the East Bay, and they're maintained by the city.
He says rural.
Well, he's referring to tree. Okay. Is he specific rural grid healthy? Or I'm not rural, but I'm in a tree-lined area, and they come and cut trees down.
No. We all agree. You're totally rural. We're just leaving it at that. You're now
okay. You're just bickering over one word, rural. I'm talking about trees. Now, so they come out and cut my trees, but because the tree is out in the sticks, they won't cut it because the state won't allow them to. This is nonsense. I asked him for proof of this, and he couldn't provide any.
Wow, man. I mean, he's just trying to give you his opinion, and then if you had read everything normally without the cynical tone and then kicked in here, it would have been better. I don't know.
State government was adequately warned that this would be the result, which is all these fires. Now, we got to remember, PG&E is also the operation that had this pipeline blow up in the middle of nowhere in San Bruno Mountains. The whole gas line exploded. A main thing, it took out like a whole block of houses and killed a bunch of people. This company is responsible for a lot of this stuff, and they're blaming it on everybody but themselves. He goes on and says, PG&E has become a punching bag from various disasters caused by bad maintenance, for which the Utilities Commission and state government has been largely responsible. Here again, pointing the finger. The rainmakers in the office think that eventually the state government will use some disaster as a pretext to assume control, and they write their contracts accordingly.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, this part, it doesn't surprise me. It's possible. To put this into no agenda terms, it looks to me like California is executing a classic mafia bust-out scam. Fallout from Enron allowed the state government to grab PG&E by the nuts. The state government is milking them, driving acquisition costs down until they die. When they're sucked dry, California will declare PG&E dead, well, they're bankrupt already, and execute the takeover. What do you want to bet that when this happens, California will beg for federal bailout money to pay for it? If it worked in Puerto Rico, it can work in California. Okay. So let's assume that that's what's going on. Okay. As a Californian, and if they can pull this off and get federal money, free money, I'm all for it. What's wrong with that? What specifically is wrong with trying to pull this stunt?
Well,
PG&E is falling apart. They can't keep up.
May I say something? Can I just? Yeah. You said, as a Californian, what's wrong with getting federal dollars to fix the problem? As a Texan, I say, blow me, California. That's my tax dollars.
You don't get any federal money? The state of Texas doesn't get any federal money for anything ever?
Sure we do.
California is the largest economy in the country.
Build a wall.
We lose more of our federal tax. We lose more federal tax money goes out than comes back. Many states, like Alabama, for example, gives a lot more money back from the feds than they put out. we want our money back. I don't think there's a problem with that.
Okay.
So I think this is fine. PG&E is falling apart. It's pretty obvious. And they were pulling a stunt. I think it was just before the show started. I heard about this from one of the PG&E guys, and they would do this crap. The company itself is corrupt. I don't care what this guy thinks. That all you have to do is watch the CEO go on and give his spiel. You can tell this guy's a douchebag. But this is a company that I talked to some guys that worked there. He says, yeah, we worked there for 6.
See, again, it's not a good idea to call people who control your power douchebags. I mean, it just makes no sense. Okay. Hey, listen, PG&E, could you turn his power back on? Because I just want to finish the show. Please, pretty please.
Listen, say, it's the state's fault. They won't let us trim trees. That's bull crap. Okay, I'm done. Back to the fires.
Apparently, Southern California Edison International is also on the verge of bankruptcy.
Yeah.
That's they provide Southern California, I guess, with electricity.
The fires down there.
And
it's a double bust out.
Now, I don't know if they're actually bankrupt. I know their stock price has plunged, but I'm not sure what the financials are. But it's kind of messy.
Yeah,
you need to have
the
some.
State, by the way, let's stop right here and maybe mention something. The state's too damn big. It should be 3 states.
Yes, our favorite. I'm with you.
So let's continue with the fire report. Now, so the fires were going on, and they were reporting pretty straightforward. They weren't blaming global warming on everything. But no, you go to Democracy Now! Where they're obliged to make everything about global warming. So I have 3 clips that talk about the California fires and pretty much blame the fires on global warming. So PG&E is not really at fault if you take this approach, because it's global warming. So I want to play just to give you a taste of this. This is clip 1 from Democracy Now! Fires.
Fires in California are typical this time of year, but the length and severity of the state's fire season has grown due to climate change. Of the more than 4,000 firefighters working across the state to contain the blazes, at least 700 are California prisoners. While salaried firefighters earn an annual mean wage of $74,000 a year, plus benefits, prisoners earn $1 per hour when fighting active fires.
Hey, man, do you remember when back in the good old days out west there'd be a fire and all the men would immediately grab their shovels and they'd go do it and they'd save it themselves? Now, like, pay that prisoner $1.
Anyway, she blames it on global warming. She gets that little gem in there. Nobody else has brought that up. Of course, Democracy Now! That's the kind of thing they would do.
Of course.
I thought that was interesting. We got a bunch of prisoners out there fighting the fires. It seems like
seems like the California way.
Gypped, by the way, they should not be. They should pay them full ticket.
What is full ticket for a firefighter?
$75,000 a year. You can. It's probably about $25 an hour or something like that.
Jeez.
Probably 30. All right. So then we go back to the global warming, climate change thing. So we go to Democracy Now! This is part 2.
Well, we know from research from scientists that climate change has dramatically worsened fires in the West. There's research that says that fires have gotten 500% more risky as a result of climate change, and that 2 times more area has burned because of climate change.
I like the scientific term more risky.
500% more risky. What does that mean?
Well, the research says. So that's all the research not proves. No, the research says. I think what she means is because of climate change, everything's dry. So if we get a fire, it's worse. And the 500 number sounds pretty unscientific to me.
Well, she's a professor at the University of California, Santa Barbara.
Oh, well, there you go.
She's one of those. She's like a expressionless-faced woman with, obviously, I believe a Trump hater, but I can't prove that, but she looks like the type. And she is just and she probably teaches gender studies or something. She teaches something weird. They mention it at the beginning of the clip. Mm-hmm. It's something climate science and the new age or something. And she goes on. Is that the end of that clip?
Yeah.
Okay, so we hear this and that, and she's going on and on. So then a little later on the same show, they bring out now remember that according to Amy, the length and severity is bad, and this one 500% worse. They go on and on. But then they bring out Gavin Newsom, who's a Democrat and a climate change guy, the whole thing. But listen to what he has to say.
I recognize this moment generates a tremendous amount of anxiety. The high-profile images that people see, not only the Kincaid fire in Northern California, but now the Getty fire in Southern California and Los Angeles, generate consternation, generate concern. But this, interestingly, is a moment in California that is very familiar. We've actually had a below average fire season to date. What we're experiencing at the moment is slightly above average. It's a high end of average for this time of year. It doesn't feel that way, but it, in fact, is the case. This state has been well resourced. The state has been very forthright in terms of pre-positioning assets to a degree that we had never have in the past.
So that's the governor of California.
Hey, you guys already got some federal money, apparently.
Well, you can use more. So
yes, always.
Anyway, the point is that these two women go on and on, wringing their hands, and then Newsom comes on and mentions the reality. And you, of course, like to bring out your 1842 clip.
It's
from
not
the Explorer.
If only it was a clip. It's there were no clips in the day.
It's a news article.
Yes, it was the diary of the professor, and I think it was 1860, and he wrote that California, he did not understand how anyone could or would ever want to live there because it is hell on earth with its mudslides, its fires, and its earthquakes. And no one listened. And nobody listened. It's been
the weather's good.
The fires in California have been there forever. The problem is they put people around.
Well, they put people in the wrong spots. It's like, building in flood zones in the Midwest, and then they get flooded, and everyone wonders why. What? Oh, my God, we're flooded.
Or on any coast.
A housing development in a flood zone.
Yeah, or people who build on the coast. And then also, like you, then claim federal emergency funds and go build their new house again on the beach. It's like, I'm against this. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't blame you.
Especially sending money to California. Screw y'all. You don't care about us.
But we used to actually manage these fires with controlled burns and all these other mechanisms, which they stopped doing. From what I can tell, I haven't heard about these for decades.
Isn't that part of what the PG&E insider was saying? Is that they won't let them do certain things? Wouldn't the controlled burns be part of the
controlled burns were never done by PG&E?
Okay. But they've stopped someone from doing it.
No, he says that they stopped them from cutting the tree limbs.
I understand. Separate issue. But if, let's just say that's true, we have no proof, it would probably fall under the same reason why they haven't done controlled burns. For whatever reason it is, it sounds like the policy.
I don't believe so. I believe the controlled burns were stopped by a bunch of environmentalists.
It's policy.
No, it's releasing too much CO2. And the control burns were done by people like Ducks Unlimited and these hunters who needed to clear these reed areas from all these, these places go up like if there was ever any wind. They always do it when there's zero wind, so they can actually control the burns. Right. And the state had different forestry operations that would do this, and they disbanded them. There's a lot of discussion about this in the state, and they just gave up on all this control stuff. They said, hell with it. It's going to burn. It's going to burn. And so they just let it burn, and they get these fires all the time. They're just completely out of control, and they're, burning people's houses down and wineries and everything in between. This is ridiculous. It's poorly managed. The state's out of control.
There you go. That's why we should not send them any money. By the way, I am happy to see that at least California provides needles to your drug abusers. That's good use. They're safe. So right on cue, a reminder, Your No Agenda show has tracked the vape bull crap from the beginning. And to summarize very quickly, the big tobacco industry, which is a very big industry and is very powerful, so powerful, in fact, that it got Trump and the First Lady to jump on the anti-vaping bandwagon. Why do you say? Well, because vaping was taking over the cigarette smoking business. And with vaping, you can only really sell nicotine and a couple other chemicals. You can't sell what this huge industry has invested in for 100 years at least, which is tobacco. They have a tobacco production system. They need to sell tobacco. They developed the IQOS, I-Q-O-S, which will be a so-called smokeless, odorless, it's not either, but much less offensive smoking device which takes tobacco and heats it, produces a wonderful draw and flavorful taste without igniting the tobacco. In order to do this, they purchased Juul for $18 billion, and they're driving it into the ground. And with it, legislation that will ban even if you say you vape, you'll get arrested within 2 months. That's where this is going. And this is the latest.
A former executive e-cigarette company, Juul, has filed a lawsuit that says it shipped 1 million contaminated pods this year, but told no one.
In the lawsuit, Siddharth Breja alleging that company leaders often responded to concerns about health and safety by quoting former CEO Kevin Burns, who allegedly said, "Half our customers are drunk and vaping like expletives. Who the expletive is going to notice the quality of our pods?"
And this was, of course, the dagger all the way into the heart, because we were able to bring in a lawsuit that does not explain what the so-called contamination of 1 million pods was. It literally does not say it. They were over the date. That is mentioned in this lawsuit. But all we needed is to have the quote, uncorroborated, of the CEO saying, screw, they're all drunk mofos. Screw them. They don't know what quality is of the vape. And we get the slip in the contaminated word, which leads back to 34 people who apparently have died from vaping, although almost 90% of those people were vaping THC cartridges in addition to a Juul or other vape products. So we kind of think that that's where that went wrong, but it doesn't matter. The PR coup is complete. Already flavored vape sticks are off the market. They fired 500 people at Juul. They're going to close the whole thing down, and you will start to see, I'm thinking Christmas, they got to hurry up if they want to do it. And they may not be able to make it, but they have time and money, clearly. And it's, as Trolls pointed out, nothing new with vaping, heating up tobacco leaves. But this is a modular system. This was the genius of the vape, is you could buy a vaping pen, you could squirt in your juice, and everything would work. Now you'll buy your heat sticks, which will be the same cancer sticks that you smoked that were cigarettes, only it won't stink up the room, which has also been kind of the holy grail of the big tobacco industry for years, going back to the leverage buyout and the smokeless turd-smelling cigarette, barbarians at the gate. So it's done. And it happened within, what is this, John, 2 months' time? 2 months. They completely broke it all down.
The Juul situation, actually, we didn't catch it when it happened, when the buyout took place.
No, we didn't catch the buyout. No, we didn't catch that. No.
We didn't realize what they were up to, which was more sinister. And the reason we couldn't see it that way, because
it's unbelievable.
$18 billion, you don't buy a company for $18 billion to ruin them on purpose.
Unless you've got $100 billion to play with, I guess.
Yeah, it's like one of those things, how do you lose $1 million? Start with 10.
No, get into aviation. It's the way you do that.
Yeah. So the numbers were beyond comprehension for pulling this stunt, but it's a gem.
It's one of the best.
I give them full credit for this one. This is one of the best maneuvers I've ever seen or witnessed in my life, and I'm probably never. A lot of people don't even realize what happened. But this is a fantastic play. I've never seen. And I don't think just a movie should be written about it.
Well, yes. And I don't think anyone has deconstructed it the way we have. I don't think anyone has followed it the way we have. And it's like every single show, there was another development in exactly the manner that once we figured it out, that they were just really taking this big Hail Mary. But for me, when Trump and Melania came out and, oh, yes, vaping bad. I mean, Trump's going to win every single tobacco state in the union because that was the deal. He did a deal with the devil right there. So besides Virginia, what other tobacco states do we have?
North Carolina?
It's his. It's all his. How big is the tobacco industry still? It's got to be huge. Do we have a number?
I don't have a number. I don't really follow it that closely.
But the influence of the tobacco industry is just incredible, and they did it. And the IQOS is going to come.
Well, if you consider it an agricultural product, and if you see what they charge for a pack of cigarettes, and then weigh the contents as an agricultural product, and consider what it would be by the pound, like tomatoes,
right?
It's way
it's
up
a great
there.
business, yeah. I wonder if they get subsidies as farmers too. Probably do.
Oh, all farmers do.
Probably get. Anyway, I'm sad about it. I like vaping. Now you're seeing news reports. Oh, people are to quit vaping because they're so hooked on the Juul, which is possible. I mean, nicotine is addictive. They're so hooked on Juul that they're now going back to smoking cigarettes.
Yes,
mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. Very good. Well, you saw it unfold right before your very eyes, and we'll never have a resolution on the people who passed away from lung issues related to vaping, whether it's nicotine.
You mean the 400 million or so that die every year or something like that?
Well, 400. I think
400,000.
400,000. Yeah.
Well, 400,035,
I wanted to go back and revisit for a second something the president said about we have the oil. We're pulling out. We killed him. Baghdadi is dead. We've got the oil. And I'm thinking to myself, what oil? Syria's total oil output is 0.3% of the world. I mean, sure, they've got oil, but then it hit me. We're on the border, the new border, or whatever the imaginary border is between Turkey and Syria. It's kind of murky. What's right up there? There's two cities we've talked about for a long time, and even before anyone was talking about it, and it's Homs and Aleppo. And these are the two. This is where our troops are, so-called not boots on the ground, are now stationed. And you know what they're doing? They're either protecting or stopping a pipeline, because that's what this was about. It was about Russians and stuff, but it was really about the Iran pipeline that we're not going to let them build. And I encourage people to once in a while just open up. I mean, I know you don't have a map, so open up your Apple Maps or your Google Maps and then take a look at Syria. And right to the left there, right in the direction of any pipeline that we're going to stop, and that would be either a natural gas pipe, probably a natural gas pipeline. There's two. There's competing. One from Qatar, which is problematic these days because Saudi Arabia and Qatar hate each other. And the other one's from Iran. We hate Iran and we hate all those guys. But what is to the left of Syria? What is to the left there? Right where we want the pipe to come out and go on to ships or go somewhere else. It's Lebanon. It's Lebanon. And what's happening in Lebanon?
Hariri is gone, but the demonstrators remain. Thousands stayed on the street into the night at the main protest camp close to the Prime Minister's headquarters. They see Hariri's resignation as a victory, but for them it is just the first step.
Basically, one part of the war, if we can say that, we need a change. We start with the government. The bigger change will be with the establishment.
The purpose of the demonstration was to change the whole system. The democracy that was stolen by political parties for 30 years
Earlier, protesters celebrated the moment of the first big change to that political system. Prime Minister Hariri announced to the nation that he was stepping down.
I am going to the presidential palace to submit the government's resignation to President Michel Aoun and to the people in all regions in response to the will of the many Lebanese people who have taken to the streets to demand change.
But there are powerful forces in Lebanon who are against the change the protesters are demanding. Before Hariri announced his resignation, supporters of the Shiite Muslim political movements Hezbollah and Amal rampaged through the main protest camp. It was the worst violence since protests started nearly 2 weeks ago. Activists are back at that camp and are determined to continue their fight. Hariri's departure has lifted their spirits, but it may not be enough to end the country's turmoil.
So it seems like we're in the business of causing some crap in Lebanon. We already have put severe sanctions on the country, which is part of the problem, and it was just ratcheted up at the beginning of October. And I'm thinking the Saudis are doing this. And the Saudis are no foreigners to messing around with the Iranian proxy group, the Hezbollahs. In fact, here's a clip from 2017, 3 years ago.
Regional tensions over Lebanon are escalating after Hezbollah's leader says Saudi Arabia has declared war on Lebanon. It comes as the leader of the Iran-backed group accused Riyadh of detaining Lebanon's prime minister, Saad al-Hariri.
Same guy. What is going on here?
Wow, that's a good catch.
It's the same guy.
Yeah.
And 3 years ago, and the Saudis kidnapped him, and then there was more unrest. And now what's happening is Hezbollah is coming through and kicking everybody's ass who was protesting about the injustice and elites having too much power. It's a mess, and it's going to be rubblized. It's on the list. It's a Wes Clark 7 list item. It's on his to-do list.
It's been rubbleized before, and it's so and I don't think it's ever completely come out of being rubbleized. I don't know how much more damage you can do to Lebanon.
That's true. That's true.
So it's like pre-rubbleized.
But my goodness, but it's so obviously connected.
Yeah, it's part of the State Department. That's got nothing to do with Trump. Apparently, we have our own separate foreign overseas government control.
Yeah.
That's whatever Trump says is it'd be nice to get rid of him according to the Democrats, because then you can be more unabated. You don't have this crazy president that is telling you, wait, we don't want to be in the Middle East. Right. Yeah, we do.
No,
we don't. Yeah, we do.
that's just crazy.
Well, I don't want you going to the Middle East. Well, we're going to go anyway. Well, and we're bureaucrats and we can do what we want.
Oh my goodness.
So I was listening to some millennials speaking, and we've noticed this before. I have a couple of examples I want to play to you as a quiz.
Oh, I'm always in for. Is this Ask Adam
or just
a quiz? I kind of make
it easy because I emphasize it a little more than I should have. I may have given it away.
Okay.
But I have two clips. One of them is the first one. I'm going to set it up, but I'm going to tell you what it is so you can cue it up.
Mm-hmm.
This is the clip that is ABC News Streaming. ABC News Streaming News lost clip.
Okay.
Now, this is there's a word in here where there is a missing letter, but this is a person that works for the network.
To LA County as it continues to gust there 60 to 80 miles per hour, mainly in the higher elevations, but then also extreme fire danger for parts of the San Diego mountains, mountains as well.
Mountains. Important mountains. It's in important mountains.
So she she says mountain.
Why are we dropping
the Putin thing?
Why are we dropping the T's? It's Putin. It's important.
Well, I got another one for you. See if you can spot this one. Now, this came from a podcast.
All right.
And I don't know if I should mention the name of it because it's kind of, it's.
Yeah, you should.
This is a voice coach, a millennial voice coach that was on the podcast, and she's all jitty about everything. And she goes on, and I'm thinking she's a voice coach.
That's a keyword, voice coach.
She throws in she does one of these drop T's. I want to see if you can spot it.
teaches at Michael Howard, and I did these workshops with her. She totally transformed my life. And I realized how important the voice and the body and the breath were to feeling connected to people, to...
That's a voice coach. We're so doomed.
We're totally doomed.
I like the fry, though. It's a nice fry she's got.
You got
going
a bunch
on.
of fry.
Nice
This
fry.
is nothing. I could have taken so much from her. She says, and you know, and
that's
really,
a voice
really, and all these things. She
my
has so many flaws. And then when she says important, I just said, I can't take it anymore. I got to clip this.
Very important. Well, I think I can top it for ridiculousness. If we had a commercial podcast, i.e., if we had a Bayer as a sponsor, which this clip from this next podcast is sponsored by Bayer, the pharmaceutical company. I think that says enough right there. But if you're sponsored by Bayer, by big Bayer, is it
big
Bayer?
Boy?
By big boy Bayer, or any other large corporation, you must, of course, completely adhere to the correct verbiage, and you must be socially justice woke. And you therefore must make sure the entire show is gender neutral. Makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, you can't have a show. We can't be sponsoring a show. John, we're looking at this show over here, this podcast. It's a pretty good reach. The host is very famous. We want to sponsor him with our pharmaceutical products, but can we make sure that they're doing everything properly? We
got paperwork he can sign.
What do we need to? Yeah, we need to make sure he signs the paperwork, that he keeps everything gender neutral. Should we?
Oh yeah, he can sign off on that.
Let's see how he's doing. Let's check in with Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller fame.
I have now made our show, and I hesitate to say this because I sometimes flip up for comedic reasons, for rhythm. But I believe our show is now completely gender neutral.
Woo! Yes! Great!
And it's really hard because ladies and gentlemen has to go. And the other thing that's very hard for me is that, as you know, I'm very, very badly educated. And for that reason,
that's the first law
certain kinds of speaking are important to me. So using the plural, third person for singular, fingernails on chalkboard. Because it's the way I was. Everybody in my neighborhood did that. I didn't want to. So I always want to say he or she. So saying they it feels like it shows me as being stupid and uneducated, and I don't want to do that. But I now have realized that that's right. So I've gone through our show and made it so it's only they is the pronoun, and I use people's names, but I never say the man over here or he or she. And there's one or two places where rhythmically, it's very hard to know that I mean that person when the line has to go comedically. And I'm fighting the poetic rhythm, just the prosody of it. I'm fighting that so hard against what I know is right. But I think in the long run, it's worth it. And one of the things that beat me up was I made... it happens. I made a couple of missed calls gender-wise. And I got to tell you, it happened in the first bit of the show. And I was still going, motherfucker, at the end of the show. And after the show, it was like, standing ovation, 3,000 people. They come back to get my mics off, and I'm going, oh, that poor person.
So that was going to ask, so that's the reason? Is that
no, that wasn't the reason. The reason is it's the right thing to do. That was one of the things.
The future of podcasting, ladies and gentlemen. Can we do it? Can we keep this show gender neutral? Do you think we can finish this show in a gender neutral way?
I think we can. If we get down to the end, we can finish it. Sure.
Are you ready to try?
Yeah.
It's going to get real difficult in this next segment.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda. In the morning.
Well, we have a few people to thank, but since we're gender neutral, we can't thank any of them. Thank you very much. That'll be the end of today's show. We'll be again on Sunday, right, Adam?
I think we can try it. And I'd like to start first by thanking our two producers from Kona, Hawaii, Chris, our Kona person. He says, hey, it's Chris, your Kona person. Was awesome being associate executive producer on 1169. Finally sent these 2 boxes off last Friday to the P.O. box. Did you receive something from Kona, from Hawaii?
No.
Well, and a lot of it was actually for the keeper, because one of their kids, the Coddingtons.
What was it?
Well, I'm going to tell you in a second. They went into the hospital, and they made extensive use of the Ronald McDonald House charities. And so, there's a lot of thanks for the keeper. And they sent a box, John. I mean, it is filled with aloha. It is just, we've got chocolates, we've got nuts, we've got coffee, we've got everything from Hawaii. We've got the calendars. It cost them $30 just to ship it. Unbelievable. So incredibly nice what they sent. And SabrinaBarron.com is where you're going to go see what she's up to, doing something.
You said she.
Oh, darn it. Okay, well, we'll pick it up. We'll do an edit here.
I'm not picking it up.
And so you can go to SabrinaBarron.com. They have more information on their website. And thank you very much. I also know that my name in Hawaiian is Akamu. That's my name in Hawaiian. Akamu. A-K-A-M-U.
Akabu, big butt?
Akamu. Not Akabu, Akamu. Akamu. Akamu.
Big tits?
Wow. Akamu. A-K-A-M-U.
Oh, A-M-U. What is it? M-O-O.
Akamu.
Well, let's thank Sir Sam, Knight of the Bedfordshire, and the great ooze. Great ooze.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, we talked about it before. 189.69. And he says, happy 12th, have a $12 per year plus some much needed relationship karma for himself. We'll put that at the end for you. Peter Chong, $144. He needs some karma. But no, he says his board exam karma worked.
Oh.
Sir Pete, Baron of the North Holland and Friesland.
Friesland Boppa.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He needs some goat jobs. Librarians we got a big karma feast at the end here.
Karma bonanza.
Sir Cullen McCarthy, Baron at Large, $120. Dennis von der Drieschen.
I do not think he's donated before. Dennis von der Drieschen. Congrats, gentlemen. Keep on trucking. He's from Amsterdam. $120. Thank you very much, Dennis.
Bauk Overbosch.
Bauke
Overbosch.
Let me read this note for a second.
Leeuwarden.
I ran into the No Agenda podcast about a month ago. Here we go. Because I'm a great fan and listener to the Dutch show of Robert Jensen, which I believe is a friend of Adam's. Yes, he is. I've consulted him on his podcast. Anyway, love your show. Been binge listening ever since. So I decided to do a donation at your 12-year anniversary, for which I say congratulations. I'm a steady listener now and will set up a monthly donation soon. I guess I should be de-douche now. Can I also call up my friend Simon as a douchebag? Well, always. And a quick de-douche.
You've been de-douched.
And we'll throw the goat karma at the end for you. And welcome to the family, Bauke.
Anonymous, 120. These are all 120s. Brandon Brown, 120. He donates monthly, but felt an urge to donate more. Sir Jim Zuckel, 120. Sir Malinowski in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 120. Sir Euchre, 120. We talked about him earlier in the show.
Yes, the artiste.
He did the art. Sir, a dude named Ben in Los Angeles, California, 120. That ends our little celebration. We go to Thomas Koenig, $111.11.
He's from
Sir Herb Lamb.
Hold on. Deutschland, and a first donation. He specifically requested de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
We got a lot. I mean, I can understand having a Hollanders listen to the show because, you're a famous person there. But I'm really glad we get a lot of Deutschlanders because I think it's nice. But where are the Belgians and the French? And how many Italians have ever lived? We mentioned besides Willow, nobody.
No. They hate us. They hate us, hate the show, hate everything we stand for.
It's just beyond me. But thank you, Thomas. Or Tomas, perhaps.
Thomas Koenig.
Sir Herb Lamb, Earl of Georgia, 8008. That was a boob without a Easter egg. Simon Palwoda. Something like that in West Hartford, Connecticut. Brian Klimzak. Wait a minute.
Yeah, you got it. Naperville, Illinois.
I think Simon's a baron. Is that right?
No.
Oh, the local baron. So. Okay, there's a baron around.
I think so.
Brian Klimzak in Naperville, Illinois. Sir Don of Sir Don of Taintsville, 6660.
He says, soon to be Baron Don of Taintsville, where I shall rule the ville of the taint with an iron fist and a velvet glove. You're sick, man. You're sick. But thank you for supporting the show.
Pull yourself together. Have a beer.
I
Larry
can't help
Blatt,
it. I like it.
66.60. Anonymous, 6611. Bastian Lassonder.
Lassonder. I
Lassonder.
think it's Lansonder. I think there's an N missing there. Thank you very much, Bastian.
60. Stacy Mullen in Roseville, Michigan, 60. Thanks for all you guys do. According to this, actually comes in from Mike Mullen, or somebody's Mike is involved. Doug Andrews, 60. Anthony Rodriguez in Tucson, Texas. Tucson. He lives in Tucson, Texas.
Tucson, Texas.
I like it. That's Arizona, by the way. Tucson, Arizona. That's the way it's pronounced from now on. Robert Marsh, 60. Is that our local boy? Kimberly Burden in Greenville, Michigan, 60. These are all $60 well-wishers. Annie Briglia in Summit, New York. Keeper K's, parts unknown. Jim Buell.
Wait. Keeper K's first time donating. De-douching, please.
You've been de-douched.
I don't know what happened to the back office, but they were slipping up. A couple of douchebag call-outs. Pitt and Nathan. Douchebag. They are giant D-bags for not having donated sooner, and that's two of them, so... Douchebag. There we go.
Jim Buell in Spring Hill, Texas, 60. Stephen Tucker in Venago, Nebraska, 55-56. Robert Bruckner, 55-55. Gordon Watson in Austin, Texas. Gordon Walton of the Waltons. Austin, Texas, 51-20. For my daughter, Catherine's damehood.
He keeps, this is part of our Dame Drive. He heard the call, met him I've met him before, but he was at the meetup at the most recent 512 local, or local 512. And he keeps donating for his daughter, which is really nice. She'll be there soon, I guess. And let us know how the accounting's going. And thank you.
Yes, that was quite nice. Sir 737, 5111. I'm not getting that. Sir 737? He's jet pilot, maybe?
I believe so. Well, he said, ITM from TMI, the first No Agenda 3 Mile Island evacuation zone meetup was a success. 9 producers had a great conversation and are looking forward to doing it again soon. This is the donation from the anonymous chip-in jar. There you go. Thanks, everybody. I'm glad you had a good meetup. That's nice. 9 people. Excellent. That seems to be kind of the sweet spot. 9, but some go much higher and some go a little lower. But it seems like we can regularly get at least 9 to 10 people together anywhere in the world.
It's a good way to meet people.
Yeah.
Eric Dutro in Flint, Michigan, 50. Now, these are all $50 donors, name and location. Starting with Eric Dutro, followed by Eric Wills in Eldersburg, Maryland, followed by Dorian Kernitsky, I think. Kernitsky?
That sounds right. Kernitsky, yeah.
In Rockledge, PA, is a birthday call out to herself. Robert Fittler in Mars, Pennsylvania. He's been in there before. Baron Sir Alan Bean in Oakland, California. And boom, that's the end. We have a very small list today after our celebratory 2 shows. I don't know what we're going to do for the next show.
Well, we're going to have to come up with something. Let's see. Dorian is awesome. Dorian is a man.
Is Dorian the man, Dorian?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it is a genderless name.
Yes, John. You should. The website was listed in the donation. I think you should go look at it.
Well, I'm reading these down the list. I'm not looking at the donation.
I know. No, what I'm saying is go to the website. Is what I'm saying. This is not. Okay. I'm not always critical of you. I'm just making a suggestion. So touchy.
Well, I would, but I'm under the assumption because I worked with a Dorian at the Mevio.
It's not a slam on you. I'm saying, look at the fucking website. It's funny.
Is it different than the regular website?
DorianisAwesome.org.
Okay.
Go to it.
I would just see that, and I think that's a woman.
On that website?
No, just by the name of the website.
No, it's not about that. Oh, my God. Okay, let me try and reset. You did a great job on all of it. All I'm saying is Dorian listed a website, and I say, go look at it. You'll have a good laugh. It's not going to be funny anymore because of this abortion of getting the joke out.
I will check it out.
Yeah, why don't you do that? It's a thought.
I will do it now.
Goodness. I'm waiting for your laugh. Anyway, thank you to these fantastic producers who have come up and stepped up and helped us out once again to get through another show. 12 years in running, but of course, really it's your show. You're the producers. You are Gitmo Nation. You are No Agenda Nation. And we want to thank all of you who supported us today, including the executives and associate executive producers, and without fail and doubt, everyone who came in under $50, please consider getting on one of our subscriptions so you can donate on a more regular basis. That base in general keeps us good for days like today when it's a little bit light. And for more info on that, go to
Dvorak.org/NA. It's your birthday.
Well, short list for everything today. We have only 2 on the birthday list. Jennifer R. says, happy birthday to her smoking hot husband, Brian, who will be celebrating in 2 days from now on November 2nd. And Dorian Kernitsky celebrates his 35th birthday today, October 31st.
It's your birthday, yeah.
Did you find Dorian yet?
Yeah, he's in the crapper.
Yes, he's in the crapper. Exactly.
No agenda media.
It's like a party. Here's what's happening with your meetup scene. You can find all of these listed at noagendameetups.com. For tomorrow, November 1st, 7:30, the Seattle No Agenda Meetup. That'll be at Canterbury Ale House. On the 2nd, the Boston Meetup. That is at... Sorry?
Oh, and I keep thinking we missed something, but go on.
November 2nd, the Boston No Agenda Meetup. An updated time, it says 6 p.m. No, it says 2... Oh, my God. It's a complete mess. It says 2:30 and something, 6 p.m. I wish I've got all kinds of hashtags and ampersands. So go to noagendameetups.com to find out exactly what's... In fact, this has happened everywhere throughout the spreadsheet. It's unusable. Also, November 2nd, the Tri-State and Pennsylvania Meetup, Somerset, New Jersey, 3 o'clock at the Stagehouse Tavern. On the 7th, moving into the week, at 6 o'clock, the OC No Agenda Meetup Part 2, The Revenge of the Meetup, 6 o'clock at Boss Cat Kitchen and Libations. November 7th, Myrtle Beach Meetup at 7 o'clock at the Sneaky Beagle. November 8th, the Nelson, British Columbia Meetup, 7 o'clock at Torchlight Brewing. November 9th, we have 3 on November 9th. Rockabilly in Park Circle, North Charleston, South Carolina. And that'll be at the Montague Avenue. Sierra Foothills, which would be Nevada, I think. Moonraker Brewing Company. Also on the 9th, the Southwestern Ontario Scandinavia meetup, 7 o'clock at the Refined Fool Brewing Company. And those are your meetups for right now. To find out more, go to noagendameetups.com. Or if there's not something there nearby, consider starting one. It's really easy. It's free, not like meetup.com where you got to pay for every person who comes in. The WeWork scam. No, we just have it here for you. You can create one, put your reports up there, your pictures, and also download everything you need for a No Agenda meetup, including pictures to be mounted on sticks, our heads on sticks. It's a staple. And thank you very much for supporting the best podcast in the universe. We got tons of karma to get to.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma. You've got karma.
What about our nightings?
We have 0 nights, 0 title changes, 0. It's a down day, man.
No kidding.
It happens. Let me give you a little update on the unhoused situation in Austin, Texas. As this debacle continues.
It's not improving?
Well, they did change the local city ordinance back. So I would say that there's overnight pretty much no camping downtown, at least not what I saw. Mind you, it's now 37 degrees in Austin, Texas. So I hope these people have found places to shelter. But only in a few days from now, everything under the highways, and it's I-30, it's actually 183 and Ben White Boulevard, all of those encampments under the highway will have to go.
Since the spring, the city of Austin has taken responsibility for cleaning up and maintaining what's underneath state highways. That's going to change next Monday. TxDOT workers will post these signs under overpasses. They'll send teams Monday to clear property that will be saved for 30 days. The signs list numbers and locations for Integral Care, Salvation Army, and the Arch for help in the short term. The city's homeless strategy officer says they don't expect major disruption because many under overpasses are already known and working with the city. Over the next week, the Austin Chamber of Commerce will be announcing more of their community partners and also releasing more details about what these long-term solutions will be.
Up until this point, many downtown business leaders have been large critics of the city of Austin's policy allowing people to camp, sit and lie and panhandle in many public places. We were at City Hall when Austin Mayor Steve Adler and city council members learned about the governor's decision to move in TxDOT crews. Adler says he's worried the action could scatter people too quickly.
They might end up in a place that's harder for us to find them. We know that at this point we're able to find people, get them health care, get them caseworkers, help get them in homes in ways we can't when they're dispersed and in dark places.
You know what we need in Austin? We need a homeless hunt. This is perfect.
I got a question.
Hunt the homeless. What's your question?
Within this one fiscal year beginning in January.
Yes.
It started off in your little burg there.
Mm-hmm.
It started off, the homeless can camp anywhere they want on all the sidewalks. It's all fine because it's camping. Oh, no, and then a month or two goes by.
No,
and
John,
just remember,
July.
they're your neighbors.
July. It's not January 1st. July they started that, and
they're your
turned it back.
neighbors. They're just neighbors. So they camp in the other neighbors. And it goes from that to throwing them all out of town and overnight. What happened?
Well,
what is
hold
these guys, psychopaths?
All right. Did you listen to the report? This is the feud going on between the city of Austin, who continue to call them your neighbors. Of course, they're your neighbors. Camping, come in, do whatever you want. And the governor, Abbott, he's sending in the Texas Department of Transportation to kick everybody out. Adler is then saying, we won't be able to find them because they'll scatter. That's what's going on.
Find them. What's he got some?
But it's worse.
With a couple of these
it's
homeless
worse.
Women?
Last night, the keeper and I had dinner with Alan Graham and his wife at their tiny home in the Community First Village here in Austin, which is one of the few programs that's working. Takes no money from state government, federal or otherwise. It's all donations. They're housing over 250 people who pay rent, have jobs, or have a steady income, Social Security or disability, but have to live in a community. No cops running around policing everything. Everything's fine. People do drugs. They just do them in their own house in the privacy of the little tiny home. And they do a lot less drugs than they used to. And they seem to be it's been going very well. And they're adding another 500 in the next year. They connected with COTA, the Circuit of the Americas, which is a commercial business. We have Formula One this weekend. And the story you're about to hear was actually tagged by a producer who copied both of us on it and gave the article actually reads, and even the video starts off with the great seal of the city of Austin, as if Austin has done anything, which the city has nothing to do with this next report.
As Formula One fans from all over the world head to Austin, some Austinites experiencing homelessness are heading to work.
There's more than several thousand positions that are filled. Certainly we can carve out some for those who are in this particular situation.
For 3 days this weekend, Circuit of the Americas is employing people who are struggling with homelessness. The work will all take place overnight and include setup and janitorial duties.
As corporate partners of this community, let's use the opportunities we have to look at across the entire population and see where we can do some good. And that's all we're trying to do here.
The temporary employees are people receiving services from 2 Austin nonprofits, Caritas and Mobile Loaves and Fishes.
A whole covey of people showed up to want to participate in this.
Mobile Loaves and Fishes founder Alan Graham says word of the job opportunities spread quickly through their Community First Village.
It's really simple. You just got to find the people that want to work. And so when you work with organizations like Mobile Loaves and Fishes and Caritas, which are involved in this particular program, we know the people.
It's the first time COTA has employed people experiencing homelessness, but many hope it's not the last.
We would love them to lean into us, and I'm sure the other organizations that serve the homeless population, and help bring them dignity that will ultimately help them get up off the streets.
So here's the part that pisses me off about this report. The people from Caritas is an organization here, and they do register people experiencing homelessness. But the people at the Community First Village, these are just jobs. They're not homeless. They have homes. You see, it's much better than what the report is saying. These people are off the street trying to live in a community, get their lives straight. Many of them have. And here's a great job opportunity at $15 an hour, mind you, which is more than kids get paid at retail in Austin. A lot of them are working $7 to $9 an hour. So it's actually an incredible win, but it's presented in a weird way. Like, oh, don't worry about it, Austin. It's all good. We're taking care of it. When behind the scenes, do you know what the ideas are that these idiots at City Council are coming up with? They want to build one of those indoor training fields. You know how you have it's like a tennis court with the blow-up dome?
Yeah.
They want to erect one of those and put the homeless in there.
Oh, I thought they were just going to put them in there to play tennis.
Well, now that would be a better idea than just throwing him in the blow-up dome. These people are stupid. And I can't tell you everything. I can't tell you everything that I learned from Alan.
Because I put in some old hangers at the field.
I don't want to put him on the spot, but we had our homeless resource officer who big fanfare came into Austin and quit the next day.
Oh yeah, this is what you wanted to have the dinner for, to find out why.
Yeah, well, apparently there was a disagreement between one particular city council member, Ann Kitchens, and the resource officer, who just had enough of it and said, screw it. I'm not going to do it. And I think part of it was there was a demand that the new homeless resource officer within a week would have a detailed report. And she went, are you guys insane? Yeah, it's going to take at least 2 months to gather all the data and really understand what's happening. Anyway.
Who's Ann Kitchens?
She's one of our council members, one of the elected council members of Austin.
Is she a troublemaker?
She's a douche. Total douche. Like, you just... Oh, my God. Look up a picture. You don't even have to hear her speak, and you know what kind of person you're dealing with here.
Okay, I will do that.
And Kitchens, Austin City Council.
Is it with an E? A-N-N-E, Kitchens, K-I-T-C-H-E-N. Austin.
But I thought we could do a hybrid idea. Why don't we just get some bouncy castles for the homeless? I mean, I like the idea of the blow-up dome, but let's let them have some fun at the same time.
Yes, this woman is a younger version of a woman that Mimi has trouble with in the Port Angeles City Council.
She's from the same race. Exactly.
So there's a race of alien women.
Yes. It's bad.
And
I tell you,
and when she looks serious, she just looks like a dummy.
Isn't it interesting how you can look at someone like that and go, I know exactly how she is. And I know exactly why someone would walk away. Like, I don't want to deal with you. It's a know-it-all nitwit and a not in my backyarder. Ugh. Disgusting. Anyway, it's good to see that the people of Austin understand that you cannot fix people. Homelessness is not a fix with a house or something. No, they need community. They need people around them. And luckily, there's places like Mobile Loaves and Fishes, Community First Village, who understand that and are doing something productive. And otherwise, what a waste of our tax money. And we got to vote all of these people out, except we just voted them in like idiots.
You can't vote them out.
The next election we can. Next election we can.
You think you can?
Oh, you think we can?
I challenge you to get rid of this woman.
Oof. I don't know if I have the energy.
If you had the energy, you couldn't do it. They get entrenched. It's a very strange phenomenon. And they have their little cliques.
Oh, my goodness.
They're part of the some will become a number of women's groups, and they're all in it together. This is really, it's insidious.
Yeah.
It's hard to... Well, sometimes you think, well, maybe global governance is better. Because these people are actually placed in these positions of responsibility to get you to think what I just said. When in fact, there's got to be a different way of getting rid of these people, putting responsible people in.
I should have added this story to your millennial segment, but we need to keep it in mind for our animated series on Netflix. Now, what is one of the things that I understand it, but I don't agree with it when it comes to our show, or maybe any show in general, is this listening at 1.5 times speed.
Right.
And a lot of people do this. And I would say it's particularly of a certain generation, and it's a self-induced compression mechanism where they just want to cram more into their heads. Don't stop and smell the roses on the way. Just give me more podcasts, faster, jam it in there. Give me tweets in 140 characters, jam it in there. I don't want to, I have no time to rest and watch something. Well, now Netflix.
Put a time code down, please.
Netflix is going to offer options to raise the speed of your viewing experience up to 1.25 or 1.5 times speed. Because
it's very doable with video. They do this. They do this trick. They've been doing it for decades on airplanes.
Oh, I didn't know
with
this.
in-flight entertainment, so you can see the whole movie before you land.
But it seems
it's not a new technology. Let's put it that way.
Well, no, but it just seems like, can we find some time to just relax and let it come over you and enjoy? I mean, to me, it's like, I've said it before.
Man.
I've said it before. Do these people go to the Louvre and jog past the Mona Lisa?
Yes, they do.
I mean, Have
you ever been to the Louvre?
I haven't seen people jogging by, but I take your word for it. You know, and also, how about this? Here's an idea. Be selective. You don't need to listen to everything. Just the No Agenda show. Just the No Agenda show, obviously. But, you know, I don't know. It can't be good.
I feel like I'm in a...
It can't be good. It can't be
kind of a beatnik state listening to this.
It can't be good for you. It just can't. Also, we won't do any jingles or anything, but if you have a Fitbit, you're in luck. Google's about to buy it. And it's not to keep you healthy.
I find this to be a distressing story.
Well, let's see if it actually goes through.
I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. I do want to get this clip out of the way, which is apparently Evanston, Illinois has killed Halloween. At least in some schools.
I think we both had this clip in our list for 3 weeks.
Now to a controversy that has a lot of people talking as Halloween approaches. One suburban school has canceled any celebration of Halloween in an effort not to exclude any students. NBC5's Lexi Suter is live in Evanston tonight with much more on the story. Lexi?
Allison, Lincoln Elementary School will no longer celebrate Halloween. That's a first for this school for this year. That means no costumes for kids, no classroom parades. But we've been talking to parents on both sides of the issue, and they say they see why this has changed. This year, Halloween will only exist after school hours for students attending Evanston's Lincoln Elementary.
These kids have a lot of chances to do candy. I love trick-or-treating, but they don't need to do it in school.
This grandmother of a Lincoln fourth grader wholeheartedly supports the school's decision, seeing multiple reasons as to why in-school celebrations should end.
I think there are two reasons to not do it in school. One is that there are kids whose families don't want to celebrate and who are kept home, who feel excluded by it. And the other is that I think most schools now are moving away from having lots of sweet treats and big celebrations in school.
Blocks away at Washington Elementary, an in-school Halloween party is still planned.
What are you going to be for Halloween?
This mother of a 6-year-old says she's looking forward to continuing her family's tradition of creating homemade costumes.
I think with Halloween, at least in modern times, it's not necessarily a religious holiday.
What? It totally was a religious holiday until it became like pagan, but it's definitely based in religion, but okay.
Necessarily a religious holiday. So I don't feel like it's favoring one group over the other.
District 65 says in a statement, quote, "While we recognize Halloween is a fun tradition for many, it is not a holiday that is celebrated by everyone for various reasons, and we want to honor that. We are also aware of the range of inequities that are embedded in Halloween celebrations that can take place as part of the school day, and the unintended negative impact it can have on students, families, and staff."
Welcome to the No Agenda Show on Halloween.
I knew we'd get it in somewhere.
Yeah, I'm glad we did. Now, the thing about this is that this is because of some Muslim complainers.
Oh, really?
And now I want to just back up a little bit because the Christian complainers, that a lot of fundamentalist Christians have been complaining about Halloween celebrations in school for decades.
Mm-hmm.
Decades. And so, no, too many kids enjoy it.
They didn't mention that.
One Muslim bitches about this. Okay, we're dropping it. Now, this tells me a couple of things. One, I think it's fine. I think if the Muslims don't want to do Halloween and everyone's going to knuckle under, do it. Go push your weight around. But the thing is, that the long term, I see the Muslims and the fundamentalist Christians actually joining forces at some point to do some to move mountains. I think they can, as a force, the two groups, because the Muslims actually have a lot of leverage, because the liberals out there bend over backwards because God,
right.
We're all a bunch of atheists, but whatever the Muslims say, geez, we don't want them stabbing us. They're actually.
I don't think they think that. I think they're thinking we don't want to upset them.
But they bend over backwards. So the two groups, the fundamentalist Christians and the Muslims, the fundamentalist or not, I think could do a lot, could move a lot of things, make a lot of things change if they ganged up.
Well, the only comment I have,
ganged up on the rest of these guys.
The only comment I have is that you said mountains, and clearly you should have said mountains.
Mountains. They can move mountains.
I'm going to try to remove all the T's from my speech wherever possible.
You'll sound exactly like Christopher Walken.
If it's important. All right, everybody, please support this program. We desperately need as much support as we can garner, since everyone's passing us by. And for that, you can go to Dvorak.org/NA. I'm coming to you from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the FEMA region number 6. It is the capital of the Drone Star States. This is Austin, Texas. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where there's clear of smoke and their power's still on, which is nice, and there's no wind whatsoever, I'm John Cedarbrook.
Coming up next on NoAgendaStream.com, Nick the Rat. End of show mixes from Adam Wiesner, from Lucky TV, from, let's see, Jesse Coy Nelson, and I believe Charles Couch. Until Sunday, everybody. Adios, mofos, and such.
Last night, the United States brought the world's #1 terrorist leader to justice, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Abu Bakr, Abu Bakr, Baghdadi. Abu Bakr, Abu Bakr. The United States has been searching for Baghdadi for many years. Baghdadi, he died after running into a dead-end tunnel. Baghdadi is dead. And he died in a vicious and violent way. He died like a dog. Baghdadi in the tunnel. Baghdadi in the tunnel. Baghdadi in the tunnel. Baghdadi, and now he's gone. Baghdadi, Abu Bakr, he died like a dog. Baghdadi, running and crying. Baghdadi, I got to watch much of it. Baghdadi in the tunnel. Baghdadi, and now he's gone.
Hey, you know what? These are things that you learn only on the No Agenda show. And, mind you, that impresses the crap out of people when you lay that smack down on them. Are you a guzzler?
Yes, the wine is good here. Muscadine wine is a very peculiar. It's made from a grape that's about the size of a medium-sized tomato, and it's called a muscadine. And it's really good eating. If you have children, they love eating these things. They're delicious. They have the only muscadine wine that I've ever had that I could actually choke down without gagging. The wine that it makes is really rank, and it's made everywhere in the South. I think it's just some sort of a local challenge to see how much of it you can drink before you throw up. I'm not sure. It's never been fully explained to me why they even bother making wine from this stuff. But I have had some from this one Post Familia winery up in Arkansas that makes a good one. But by good, I mean you can actually drink it. You know, they make a really good one here in Birmingham. I don't think so. Yeah, it's actually the size of a large apricot, each grape. Large apricot. Large apricot. Large apricot. Large apricot. Large apricot.
So why don't they just do what they promised to do in the first place and let us leave the EU on time?
We've been betrayed. It's shocking. It really is.
Trick or
Brexit Day.
Trick or
Brexit Day.
Give me something good to eat. Apples, peaches, tangerines. Happy, happy.
Brexit Day. We do not know if we'll be leaving on a no-deal Brexit basis this coming Thursday, or with a deal shortly thereafter, or with another long and pointless Article 50 extension.
Trick or
Brexit Day.
Trick or
Brexit Day.
Give me something sweet to eat. Cookies, chocolate, jelly beans. Happy, happy.
Brexit Day.
And then the people trying to get the vote overturned, they used to call that fascism, but they don't call it fascism anymore. You know what I mean? Because they're fucking right on.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Trick or
Brexit Day.
Trick or
Brexit Day.
Give me something sour to eat. Lemons, grapefruits, lime so green. Happy, happy.
Brexit Day.
It's on the top. Flips it over on its side. No, it's on the top. Flips it on, upside down. It's on the top. Flips it over on its side. No, it's on the top. Flips flips it on, upside down. Guess what they looked at the longest and hardest and had conversations about?
Microphone.
Nope.
The mixer.
Nope.
The cable.
The slide whistle. 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 The slide whistle.
The best podcast in the universe.
Mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Al Baghdadi was. And her head is gone.